1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Welcome back to the Racial Draft Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Ford, and I am joined by my co-host, Kia. Kia, what's up to the people?
Hey everybody, we're back.
And we have a special guest. Uh, I don't know how to introduce you, but I'll
Shep
just say...
dog, face of the Shep, Shep herd.
What a world.
From the Racial Draft
SSKS.
community. From the
That's
Racial
it.
Draft community, we have Shep, Kevin Shepard. Shep, say what's up to the people.
What's up? How you all doing?
And
Taste for the children.
sorry to cut you off. And we just recently found out that Shep is in fact a member of the multiracial delegation. So,
That's right.
Oh.
all this time I thought Shep was a member of the black delegation. You know, and
Oh,
we've
that's kinda
had our
messed up,
differences when it
You're
comes
staring at
to
him,
when it
judging
comes
him.
to the way
Because he
that the
was
black
brown.
delegation has let's say handled their business in the draft. Let's jump right into it.
Let's go.
You know, from a we'll say you're a somewhat neutral observer. How do you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think of how the black delegation did its business this time around in the season?
A firm 3.
Ooh, that's it's a 10-point scale.
I know.
Oh,
They only catch a couple points because of Black Galactus and really Black Galactus. That's about it.
Black Doom.
And Black Doom, except for unfortunately Doom has been missing in comics for like months now. So
That's true, but I mean, ex ante, like, that's a dope pick.
I gave him points for creativity for what it was, but if you're trying to win the actual game and show that's the part I was going for.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is that you never know how, especially this year with everything with COVID, you didn't really know how the books are going to play out. You kind of want to go with the way you think things are going to go. And most of the time, I think they drafted Doom and I want to say the 5th round. Where they got him, Doom was a great pick.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Joker pick was a good pick.
Well, that was a good pick. It made some money, and especially the film that was coming out around the same time, that one made some sense. But I mean, you only had 1 or 2 anchors, and I think you need, if you're going to do something to where you're doing some fun picks that you can rewrite some history and have fun on, you need some anchor picks to actually score you some points. And only the top teams seem to have the most anchors.
I agree.
Yeah,
Speaking of top
14
teams with
and a
anchors,
mule.
speaking of teams with anchors, Kia, would you like to continue to take your victory lap on how
I
you're?
mean, I'm not even like right now. I feel like I'm kind of just crick walking, like just crick walking through. Like I don't even know what to say. I mean, we all know. Bow down. Like I feel like Megan the Stallion. You know what I mean? Just that's that hot girl shit. Like what?
So you made some wet ass picks, is what we're saying?
Yeah, I made some wet ass pick and flooded that bitch. I flooded the racial draft. That is right. Wonder Woman actually did flood the racial draft.
Yeah, with points she did. Yeah, whole bunch of points for Wonder Woman. But which
Stunned on the
actually,
nose.
that brings us to a good conversation topic. There was some news in the world of DC Comics. Shep, I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah.
We won't call it the 5G initiative. We'll call it what is it called? Future.
I've been calling it 4G enhanced, like what AT&T was calling it, but not calling it 5G.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah. DC's future state. Key, I'm sure you were a little bit out of it when it came to like the breaking DC news, but basically what they were going to do is I think they're jumping like 5 to 10 years
I'm sorry,
into the
Mike. Was that necessary to say? Like, I mean.
Okay,
just,
well,
like,
so
couldn't
tell
you
us
just
about.
said the information. Like, why did you have to say that? I might not have been.
All right, well, tell us all about Future State.
I feel as though you should talk because I have a speech impediment.
Okay. So, This is from the DC site itself. It is a 2-month line-wide event beginning in January. January through February, and the full title lineup will feature a combination of monthly and twice monthly oversized anthologies, as well as a monthly schedule of miniseries and one-shots. It spotlights the world's greatest superheroes in fresh new roles, with all new characters taking up iconic mantles. DC Future State
So
features an incredible array of creative talent.
I just want to point out to
Hmm.
the listeners that Mike read that shit. So he did not know what the fuck was really going down. He just read it. He read it off of the computer, but yet chose to judge me. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, continue.
Well, I just wanted to be factual. There are going to be changes to the Batman family, to the Superman family, to the
Yeah.
Justice League, and let's run through because it does have. I wouldn't say it has racial draft implications because a lot of these are new characters. There will be a Batman that most people think will be black, or some kind of person of color.
I'd say I question that. What about an asterisk in that right now? I'll let you continue because
No,
Maybe
let's
he'll
there's
be
let's let's
brown.
let's let's talk about
That's
it.
a
Let's talk about
brown.
it. Do you think they're pulling the okey doke?
because they put out the covers of what 1 and 2 are going to be like earlier today, and I
Hmm.
can't remember it's on one of the websites. And
Okay.
there's an allusion to the fact that it still may be Bruce pushed forward into the future, or he's still involved because they cannot let go of Bruce Wayne's Batman.
Wow. Because a lot of people were thinking that it's going to be Luke Fox. He of the son of Lucius, Batwing, um, American Batwing, as opposed to African Batwing.
Well, so if when I was looking at the 3 issues, like the Wonder Woman one is the brand new one, and
Yeah. There's going to be
then
a Brazilian Wonder Woman, Kia.
yeah, she looks awesome. I love her design.
I like that.
She's got a great design. I like how it's like the lasso with
Tell us about
bolos.
her design.
Well, she has the traditional, say, Wonder Woman shaped armor, but she's actually wearing pants. It's amazing they found them for her.
Oh,
The
there's
colors are
pictures of her
slightly
with
different.
pants because I saw pictures of her without pants.
Well, she's got them both with and without. I'm pretty sure it's going to be without because it's they got to keep the Wonder Woman
Yeah.
look.
Now she's Brazilian. Does she have
Yeah.
cakes? Does she have cakes?
I'm curious. Some kind of
I
it
mean,
fit.
yeah, Brazilian. Just
But the lasso looks like it has like bolo ends to it, like there's weighted
okay.
balls on the end. So I like that. But she's new, right? And
Right.
then you look at Superman. It's going to be Jonathan Kent. It's going to be his son.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's like it's kind of not new, but I see it's in the future.
Right.
So then I was thinking like, even if you're doing Batman or if Bruce Wayne is funding the new Batman, wouldn't Lucius be old? Maybe you would get was it Signal?
No, but I was
You
Luke.
know?
Luke is young.
Yeah.
Luke is in his he's about the same age as Dick Grayson. He's
I
around
mean,
that.
I figured he has to be a little. I mean, if you go by his, then grant you this is real world stuff, so it may not make sense. But he had this military time. He's supposed to just a special forces time. He should be what 26, 28. So maybe it's around Dick's age.
Yeah,
But if
I'd say Dick's around 27 ish.
yeah, so I mean, it depends how far in the future this whole thing is. But if it's like say it's a 10-year jump, you would still be like, I mean, how far is the jump? I guess that really.
We actually don't know how far the jump
Yeah.
is, but I'm assuming anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Long enough so that the kids can be grown, but not so far that the original nowadays characters might still not be able to pop up because as you know, Jon Stewart's still going to be around. He's just going to have hair. Uh,
Yeah. And they said Superman's supposed to be off planet fighting in some kind of gladiator tournament.
yeah,
Against
he was
Smogul.
somehow sent off Earth. So how that's always been funny to imagine a world where Superman does something so messed up that the world doesn't mess with him anymore. That seems a little bit of a stretch, but
I can
Yeah.
see it. I mean,
I don't know. He's not. Listen, if he was racially drafted Latinx Superman, maybe I could see him getting deported. But
Yeah.
white
That was
Superman, they're gonna keep him around. That's just kind of how white people roll. Especially
regardless
if
of whether it's that creepy uncle.
yeah, exactly. Um, but no, there was one more. So my point was that the reason I think that it's definitely a person of color under the cowl and Batman is that we no longer can see the skin color, and that's a telltale sign that he's not white. So
Okay, I have to find where they were showing the issue, and forgive me all for looking down at my phone here so I can find it. But they showed like the cover for 2, and it was like a Batman in reduced outfit. He had like what looks like a chest plate,
hmm
like from actual just regular body armor
hmm
with the Batman symbol like spray painted on it. And so I'm kind of like,
wait, spray painted?
it kind of looks like it's like not like Batman's money funding this, you know, where he's got just his 3D bat press making out bat symbols and stuff.
Right.
Oh God, I wish I could find this. They were showing it earlier. They showed like the first 2, and it looked like he was wearing like level 2, level 3 body armor kind of thing, which is kind of like what you see cops wear.
Okay.
And it had the bat symbol, you know, painted on the chest, and like he was less armor than normal. This kills me when I can't find stuff. I'm talking about something I can't find it.
That's all right. Well, I mean, we can come back to it. I mean, Luke Fox, as I understand it, he's still rich, you know, so she should have, you know, although maybe he's not wasting his personal wealth on the Batman journey, you know, but he should have access to the tech.
Yeah, you would think, and like I said, I'm down with showing. Let's get a new Batman, a color, even if it's temporarily, just to see what's going on. You know, mix it up. I mean, is it going to hurt anything?
I mean, and the thing is, they've already told us that it's only going to last for 2 months, which, you know, that's as with everything in comics, if people like it, they'll find a way to stretch it out. But yeah, so it's not even like the people who need Batman to you know, as their security blanket.
Here it is. I'm gonna try to put this up to the camera to see. Well, no, I don't know if this will work or not. But can you see that?
Wait, that person? No, but see, that's a different. That's the Suicide Squad Batman, I think. So
So this came off Screen Rant. If you want to check on there, and it, you know, it's like any comic thing. Yeah, I know. But they actually had, it looks like, some images. That's from the Dark Detective Future State, and they have a cover on here. And it shows the sell date, all the stuff that B4 solicits. So that's the only reason I'm buying into it. It's got, you know, it looks like a Bruce Wayne screaming on the cover for 1, and then they're showing issue 2 for Dark Detective.
Because one thing that I noticed is that there's a Batman, you know, in the Bat books, and then there's a Batman in the Suicide Squad. Who my guess is that Batman is going to be Damian, but you know, maybe we'll find out it's another twist.
I was kind of hoping it might be. I did see that. I was kind of hoping maybe it'd be the Jason Todd assuming the Bat mantle, but you know, who would more likely go to Suicide Squad? To be Damian or Jason, right?
Yeah, but doesn't Jason have his own book? Isn't there supposed to be a Red Hood book?
They're supposed to be, but I mean, it never really. You know, like I said, it's the whole thing. Who 100% knows?
Yeah, I mean, I am looking forward to it. You know,
I am.
You know, I always like when DC tries something new because so much of their fan base is geared around everything staying the same.
Yeah.
So, and you know, from a diversity standpoint, they're all over the map in terms of creating a more diverse slate. It's one of the reasons that we created the racial draft in the first place, to give them avenues to diversify through race bending, because a lot of things won't be diversified because they have a handful of characters that will never go away.
No. Although I will give DC credit, Far Sector is probably the best mainstream book going right now.
Yes, and you know what? They're bringing Joe from Far Sector into that universe through the 5G. Oh, sorry, the what's it called? Future State.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, I've been a big fan of Far Sector, and speaking of Green Lanterns, we have our Green Lantern aficionado who has joined us, Martine.
Hello.
Hey, we've just been talking about the DC Future State. Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to contribute for that?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to meeting like the new Wonder Woman, Yara Flor, the Brazilian Wonder Woman. I mentioned that it's cool that we now have 2 of them, 2 Latina Wonder Women.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing Joe, join her, kind of join the Justice League team.
Right.
The Green Lantern stories I'm interested in.
Now, is your boy Kyle represented in any?
Oh, God, no. You kidding me? No. because like again, they don't give a shit. In fact, like, because like the Green Lantern one is like John and the remaining Green Lanterns, like that
Mm-hmm.
is specifically in there, and you see John on the cover, you
Mm-hmm.
see Gnort, who you see Kilowog, and then also on you see featuring Guy Gardner and Jessica Cruz. Who's missing? You know,
At
like
this
if
point, at this point, it's just a little bit comical. The level, the lengths that they will go to just ignore Kyle.
yeah, and you wanna know something I remembered a couple days ago?
What's up?
So on for the 80th anniversary, which was this year, they
Mm-hmm.
released kind of like this collection of stories, like of different Green Lantern stories.
Right.
In the back, they had like a little description. It's like join all the human like Green Lanterns, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
they went Alan Scott, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, John Stewart, Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, and the newest ring slinger Ty Pham. Whose name did I not say?
Oh,
They
Oh
Kyle.
yeah,
released
you're
that.
right.
They
I've never
released that
understood.
out.
I've never understood why he wasn't bigger because he's technically an artist. You would think he's the inside joke lantern, at least the inside.
Yeah,
Haha,
yeah.
this is kind of
Yeah,
this is me as a lantern, and watch me draw the craziest stuff because he's an artist and I can,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
you know,
He's the
make
self in,
one that
everybody.
the
makes
self insert.
cartoons. He's the one that makes the
Yeah.
most absurd things. He's the one that's like the one of the biggest weebs on the team. Like he's making mechs and he's making like all these other like anime type shit, you know? But no, like
They're Warner Brothers. You could make Bugs Bunny references all day with Kyle
yeah, you
Rayner. It would
kidding me?
make sense and it'd be great. But
Just
you know,
like have like a little joke of like there's like an X right underneath a villain. They look down, they look up, and an anvil falls on their head or something. You know? Just like, come on.
It's
Like
all there.
this at this point, it really does just feel intentional. You know?
Yeah, it does. It you
And
know,
despite him having like 3 appearances in that collection of stories, like
they
it
just was
two of
he,
his
but he was on the
stories.
cover, right?
No, that was Hal. That was Hal on the cover, and then it was Hal on the back. But it was Hal like when he was going parallax, pretty much. Like he
Oh,
was like kind of like going evil, and they still use that on the back,
wow.
despite using any other potential Green Lantern there. But yeah, like Simon got mentioned, Jessica got mentioned, Ty got mentioned, and all of them only have one story each. And Simon and Jess share one. Kyle's in two, and then like a third one, which is where when he gets the ring. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on now. But you know,
It's par for the course at this point, right?
yeah. And then that one deceased issue that I thought he was going to show up in, he was just in a variant cover. There was no other Green Lanterns except for Black Canary in that issue.
oh, you're right about that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it was her like in the forefront, obviously, and then the Green Lantern Corps behind her, like in that variant cover. She was
Mm-hmm.
the only Green Lantern in that entire issue.
Wow.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do, right?
But so I mean, what were the other things, the other standouts from this, from the 5G? Well, sorry, I keep calling it 5G.
I figured you said it was supposed to be, I think,
From the,
5G.
right, from the
Then they
future
changed
state.
it up. Uh, let's see. The Justice League. Those are the three things that definitely like come to my mind immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm that interested in a lot of the other stuff, you know. Um, yeah, nothing else comes to my mind right now about other stuff that stood out to me that I
I mean, you
remember.
know, we talked a little bit about
Because there's a
Batman.
lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of Batman stuff,
Yeah,
obviously.
obviously, exactly. You
Yeah,
know how Batman line rules all.
yeah, because it's Detective Comics comics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of you know, transitioning slightly to what went on in I guess we could call it a combination of live action news.
Hmm.
Is anyone here watching the Batwoman television show?
No, I missed
Uh,
kind of the first season. I was gone, so
Right.
out of the states, but so I kind of missed all of it. So I really haven't got into the new stuff. I was kind of waiting to see what everybody else said about it.
Yeah, the Batwoman show, I enjoyed it. It's so, it had its traditional CW growing pains, which tends to happen with some of these shows. I thought that it was a little bit disheartening when Ruby Rose left the show. But I thought that they'd use that as an opportunity to recast uh, Kate Kane, and shockingly, they went a different direction, and they have this brand new character that's going to pick up the mantle, which that has me very skeptical. Even though I'm very happy that it's a black woman wearing the Batwoman costume, I'm just skeptical that they're operating in this world where there's no source material, there's no fan um, group of fans that are advocating for this character the same way that Kate Kane had, and there's a potential, depending on, if the show's not good right out of the gate, there's a potential for there to be a backlash.
I kind of wonder if they're hedging their bets because Stargirl's also going to roll into pretty soon, right, for the new season into the CW after first of the year, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I should have paid closer attention to when their premiere dates are, because I know they're not kicking off in the fall. Well, we're in the fall, but they're not kicking off now. They're going to kick off sometime in the new year. But I still think that anything bat oriented is something that DC generally is well invested in. And you saw with some of these leaks, there's going to be a Batmobile in this new season of Batwoman, which is pretty big, because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, has Batwoman had a Batmobile?
No, she's always had pretty much a motorcycle
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. So
I mean, I guess now's a good time to make a joke about how, like, the black woman's car better be on point. Like Kia, what kind of car should black Batwoman drive?
That's a good question.
I can make my Altima joke, but that's like dated.
I mean,
it's more like what? It's more like what
Porsche.
music are you hearing, right, when it opens up? That's the more important question.
That is true. That is definitely true.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Megan Thee Stallion, though, right?
Obviously, how do you guys not know? I'm like, duh.
Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, yeah, and or Cardi B.
Yeah.
Cardi Bat.
Yeah.
That would be kind of dope if Cardi showed up on Batwoman. I'm not sure who she played, but I'd be here for it.
Guess who? Beep.
Yeah, but normally I don't really go up for the set photos, but every it was big words, headlines of, oh, the new Batwoman, see the new suit, see the new car, and I was just I was a little underwhelmed by the car, but hopefully they'll do some things with CGI to make it, to make it really stand out.
Actually, Kia, what would be your Batwoman car? Your Batwoman. What's your car?
Ooh. I was Batwoman, and my car. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't think I have like a car. Like, if I was Batwoman, I'd want like this really awesome gadgety car. Like, I would want something better than the Batmobile. Like,
but it is a Batmobile.
But I wouldn't like pick like a car that's already done. Like, I'd like, make it where, it's giving me a back massage and like,
you got a spa in your car.
I have a spa in my car, like while I'm like chasing people, like, remember, stay calm and be focused. Like, I feel a little.
Yeah, affirmation, batformations.
Exactly. Batformations, like, yeah, you are doing a good deed. And remember, no mercy. Like, that would make me feel good. And I would want something that could like make me really good drink, like an amaretto sour. Like, I had a hard day.
Wait a second. Before crime fighting or after?
Probably during the whole ordeal. I mean, Like, yeah, like heck, I might even have have it like attached to like my actual like outfit, so I can just like put a little straw in and be like, oof, oh, that was a hard punch, little shot here. We're back in the game.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm not mad at it. I'm not. I think the people of
I'm
Gotham
watching
might be.
that.
I think people in Gotham might be mad at it though.
I'm
Because
watching. I'm
Why?
watching that
listen,
show. I ain't gonna lie.
look,
Why? That's
ashy
called
dudes on Twitter
multitasking.
would talk so much shit about Black Batwoman like taking a drink after beating, you
She's
know.
getting a little litty. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, seriously.
No, I feel you. I'm just saying that the dudes on Twitter are horrible. They'd
She's
be
a
like,
black woman. She has a hard life. Let her drink. Gosh dang it.
that's why Batwoman has no man.
Batwoman doesn't need a man. Her car does that shit for her. Oh,
I can see it. Car's got a Hotep detector. Hotep
Exactly.
detector.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
ooh, you see that? You see how I'm shaking? Yeah, that's that car life.
Yeah, Hotep Joker would be like, my third eye. What you need to do is bow down. Oh, yeah, Hotep Joker is ashy. It's perfect.
Oh
that's,
That's
that's
messed
the
up.
white. That's the white skin. He's
yeah. She
ashy.
hits him with the lotion ring, and that's what takes him out. I'm down
Right.
for it.
Puts the lotion on
Oh!
its skin.
Oh man, that's great. So we've also been joined by the captain of the white delegation, as well as the our fantasy comics league guru, Shaun. Shaun, say what's up to the people.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What up,
I
Shaun?
was dying of laughter. I came in and I was like, "What are you guys talking?" And then I just started laughing. I was like, "I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but it's hilarious."
So we talked a little bit about the DC Future State Initiative, or anything that's things about that sort of stood out to you.
Everything. I'm super excited, except for Wally West being evil again.
Oh
Across the
yeah,
board
that reminds
excitement.
me of that. I think I
Wally's
tried to
evil
block that out.
again?
Look, there's two people DC hates. It's Kyle and Wally.
I mean,
Dick Grayson says, "What up?"
no. I think they hate. I think they hate Kyle more than
Yeah,
they
they
hate
hate them
Wally.
more than Dick, but Dick is also quite hated. I'm sorry, are you a legacy hero? DC hates you even though you're their whole business.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
I think I tried to block that out. That Wally's evil again.
We all should block that out. That Wally's. Didn't they just get him back being good in death metal?
Yeah,
And
he's
speed
he's
metal?
saving the whole. You save the multiverse, and your thanks is that you turn into the big bad. What kind of crap is that?
And they literally, Heroes of Crisis, they're like, nope, that's Reverse Flash. And I was like, good, redeem Wally West's name. And then they're like, well, we can't let that shit stick.
Dude, we need to talk about how in the racial draft they really should have drafted Wally West because he's been underrated and underappreciated just like a black man. Like, so, I
Yeah.
mean, season 2, whoever's running the black delegation should really look into Wally West as a potential pick because he's been vilified. Like, was he no angel? Did he get shot by the police? Is this what happened? Did Wally West get shot by the police, and that's why DC turns him into a villain? Because
He ran by, put Black Lives Matter on a billboard as
Yeah,
super speed took off. That was it.
right. That's clearly what it is.
Protested ICE, at the border. They were like,
I
no.
mean, because there's already a black Wally. Is White Wally just getting strays that are meant for Black Wally? I don't know.
They run so fast you can't tell them apart. We just shoot.
Gotta be punished.
But what else? What else about the future state stood out for you?
Okay, what really stood out? First off, my comic book artist is a Chilean woman who's obsessed with Wonder Woman.
Mhm.
So she doesn't pick up comic books. She's picking up the new Wonder Woman because it's a Brazilian Wonder Woman. She's
Right.
like, this is my cosplay for the rest of my life.
I feel that. Now, this is an interesting question from the from the Fantasy Comics League perspective. Like, how are you gonna have to do special designations since there are gonna be so many new characters?
I mean, I'm already tracking something like 13 Green Lanterns, 9 Flashes, 7 Batmans, 4 Supermans. This is just more shit on the pile.
All right. Well, I would consider doing a special season, or only for the for the future state,
That could very easily be set up. So the way we have like all of our characters in the database, and then we also have like charts. Like I have a DC heroes and a DC antagonist chart in the database as well. I can very easily just make up a future slate chart as well to track them.
Yeah, I mean, you should consider doing a game that's just the you just draft characters in the future state and see how those play out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, you've already got 3 people who are down.
All right, guys, start drafting right now because I don't have any people.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that at a later date. But yeah. So I guess we should move forward into some of the other news that we can call it news. Michael, this is still in the DC sphere somewhat. There is going to be a Static Shock live action movie, and it's going to be produced by Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
What?
He said there's going to be a Static Shock. Just repeat the entire thing.
That's all I heard. That's all I heard. Static Shock from Michael B. Jordan. What?
Now, Kia, you're familiar with
call it.
you're familiar with the character Static, right? And the cartoon Static Shock, or no?
I'm very familiar with the static that Michael Jordan did. Yes. Very much so.
All right. Well,
Yeah. He can shock me any day.
he can expose you to the shocker, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Got it. But a lot of people like I am a fan of the character of Static, but I do sometimes get a little annoyed by the extent to which people really go to bat for the Static Shock cartoon.
Well, let's actually hold on. Let's just take a step back. Do you think Michael B. Jordan is like qualified to do that? Like I mean, like I'm not like I don't like. Do you know anything he's produced or directed?
Yeah, he had that. Was it on Netflix? The
Raising Dion?
yeah, Raising Dion. Thank you. Thanks,
Right.
Shaun.
Didn't he also?
But wasn't he wasn't like the only one. Like like sometimes I like worry about like certain things, like like
Yeah.
just like.
Well, he's not going to be the only
people
producer
music-
on this either. There's going to be DC and Warner Brothers involved in this movie. So it's not just going to be him pulling the strings like mini Kevin Feige. Although I guess he's probably bigger than Kevin Feige. But
Wasn't like 2 months ago, Michael B. Jordan, somebody asked him if he would play Static Shock, and he was like, I'm not going to play this character.
I mean,
And
he's
now
like
he came
30
out
years
and
old.
said, no, I'm going to produce him.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely feel a way if he was playing Static, because Virgil should not be that brolic.
No. But I mean, he'd be cool as a teacher, as somebody else that's in there. And I mean, he's a name draw, which is why you want him on the producer slate, because
it would be cool if he played Hardware. Honestly,
Hardware would be cool. He'd be about that age, young, brilliant engineer.
Yeah. And
Hardware's pretty dope.
Hardware did a little mentoring. He's not his main mentor, but he kind of showed up.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna make a show, you can easily kind of cut the fat on that and just make him directly that kind of guy, or he's the guy he goes to figure out his powers or whatever else, and get us some FaceTime in there.
Well, from what I understand, their plan is to do the Static movie, and then go from there as far as expanding out and doing more Milestone stuff. So the way I see it is that if they do the Static movie, we don't know Michael B. Jordan's in it, and then you get the cameo of Michael B. Jordan in the Hardware suit, then that's like the perfect jumping off point for the next project to be Hardware.
I kind of think that like Michael B. Jordan should stay out of like the actual like thing, but maybe he should actually get his like trainer, Corey Kaye, to be in there, because now, I mean, like we could talk about Corey Kaye.
Hold on, 1 minute. Who all knew that was his trainer? Just yes or no.
Well, for those of us following the Racial Draft home game, Kia does bring up Corey Kaye as much as possible. So,
Yeah.
point for you, Kia.
Thank
You know,
thank you. I'm just saying, like, I'm just putting out there because I believe in Corey Kaye. Like, I see his potential.
and if
Oh,
you're
I see
playing
it.
the racial draft drinking game, drink. But let's
Yeah,
see
he would
what
be like a
so
nice sip of.
Ooh,
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
what are you drinking today, Kia? Other than Corey
I
Kaye.
I am drinking.
other than his bathwater.
Ooh, oh, gross, gross. I would totally bathe him. Like he would not. Ugh, I would never drink that though. Like, come on, I have class.
You're a
No,
Marine.
I'm a Marine drinking bath water. We don't bathe.
Touche. Take that back.
No, but I'm drinking mango, pineapple, peach vodka.
Mango pineapple peach vodka. That's very very fruit infused. Very fruit infused.
Yes, because I had to get my fruit in today.
Got it.
Yes.
But yeah, so any other thoughts about the Static Shock project? I do like the idea of Michael B. Jordan playing Hardware, and hopefully we get that kind of cameo because people would be pretty hyped for that. But other than that, does anyone have any other thoughts?
Maybe Marty can get Kyle in this one. I mean, he's not being in a DC comic anywhere, so
Oh, that wouldn't that be
Martine.
crazy if they moved Kyle over to Milestone Universe and he's just
You'd have to
like
get a
a
tan, I think.
he's like a Green Lantern.
oh, he could be the one token white dude. It's okay. Or like
No, I
he's
mean
what mixed,
like-
right? So
no,
like
Kyle,
That could be
yeah.
a superpower, never getting burnt.
No, but he's got a lot of experience being the sole Lantern, so he would
Mhm.
just be the only Lantern in the Milestone universe, and he would just have to figure it out by
He's
himself.
the token white guy.
He's
the
not
token-
white though. He's
He's light.
He's
He's
mixed.
he's
light.
light enough.
He's
somewhere we gave a DC exec an idea. He's like, I know how to get rid of Kyle for good.
Yeah.
Put him in Milestone. Yeah.
But honestly, that wouldn't be a terrible idea because to the extent that if they really want to do Milestone as its own universe, which I'm generally not a fan of, but if they do want to do Milestone as its own universe, having a character that is not from there be sort of like the exile character could give Kyle a lane and a storyline where he normally doesn't have one.
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
that sounds a lot like Omega Men a little bit. He
Oh,
would
but I
be
haven't read Omega Man,
that
so
person outsider thing.
I mean, Kyle is the perpetual outsider. Feels like right.
Mm.
You know. Speaking of outsiders, actually, that was a horrible transition. Have any of you guys seen
Yes, it
On
was.
My Block?
On my block.
No.
Which,
Is that a Spike Lee movie?
No, it's a Netflix show about East LA teenagers.
So Spike
I
Lee did do it.
so I've only seen about half of one season, but it was a pretty cool show. I think it went for 3 seasons. I'll probably dive in and watch some more of it. But one of the actors from On My Block, named Danny Ramirez,
Mhm.
was recently cast for the MCU in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Now, sadly, with the way these castings go, people immediately jump to speculating that he might be playing some kind of superhero, and there aren't really a lot of Latinx characters in the MCU, so I think people are hoping that he's playing a superhero.
Yeah.
Danny is Colombian and Mexican.
Yes.
well, I mean, if he's not, hopefully not a bad guy, just to not do that. He could be, the new Falcon.
Joaquin. Yeah.
Yeah, but Joaquin is kind of young. Joaquin's like a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, but you can age him up. I mean, but if the Captain America's going to transition to Cap, say with or without the wings, the Falcon title's open. It'd be a good transition.
I hear that. I just wonder if this was just a story about the Falcon, like like the comic, I'd be cool with them introducing a mentor. I'm sorry, a mentee character for him to mentor. But I'd be worried about if they introduce Joaquin right now and they aged him up. There's so much stuff that they're doing with young characters, which we'll talk about in a little bit later, that it would feel unfair to Joaquin to like not give him his own storyline and then not connect him potentially in the future with the Young Avengers if they're going to introduce him, and just kind of keep him in the Falcon world, because who knows what the Falcon or slash Captain America world is going to entail in other storylines. I think a big part of what they've been doing, or at least alluding to, if these rumors are to be believed, is that they're trying to do some sort of Thunderbolts type deal, and I wouldn't be surprised if Danny's playing a potential member of the Thunderbolts, potentially race bent. I'm not exactly sure who. I'll have to sort of go through Thunderbolts' potential members, but I could see. I mean, he is a big enough name that I would imagine that he's not going to just be a one and done. And it would be nice if he was playing a significant character rather than just someone who's just doing a cameo.
Background actor
And
number
for
one.
and for our listeners, we just want to say that Joaquin, we are not talking about the captain of the Native American team.
No, it's a different and cooler Joaquin.
Yes.
Oh, if you're gonna go to Thunderbolts route, what was it? Was it Mach 1? Whatever the power armored guy who had a jetpack?
Okay, yeah, that could work.
He's the old guy though, isn't he? Like I remember his whole stick being I'm the old one.
I don't well, I'm the thing about
Sorry, I didn't
the
mean to. I was thinking too, because I was thinking, is he a big build? Could he be Atlas?
well, that's the thing. Like I said, I think that whoever he's going to be is going to be potentially race bent.
Yeah, so
So
I'm wondering, Atlas is white in the comics, but Atlas
right.
is like the big blockbuster type character on the team. Does he have a big build?
Danny's 5'9".
No, he's not. Yeah, he's not a big build guy.
Not
Well, I
particularly.
could go with Shaun saying that just because it would be funny to have a 5'9" guy become giant.
True.
But the reason I'm kind of leaning towards Mach 1 is if you're in that show and say you're apprenticing under the Falcon's got a jetpack. Mach 1's pretty much whole stick was a flying jetpack, armored guy with it. And you would kind of be able to make that transition to where he's taking existing technology and remixing it and making something new.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I could see that. I was also thinking of someone with more of like superpowers.
You know what's also interesting? The Winter Soldier led the Thunderbolts. What if him and Bucky go over to this Thunderbolts show? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if like there are a whole bunch of different options, or sorry, different directions potentially.
Well, I feel like this is the one to set up Thunderbolts because it has Zemo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there have been some set leaks of actors that people think are going to play Songbird, for instance, and there's some other actors that haven't been accounted for, and there's some scenes that have been leaked is where superpowers are being used, and so I could definitely see a storyline by which Thunderbolt Ross is trying to replace the Avengers with a new team, and originally recruits Falcon and the Winter Soldier for this team, and when they don't feel comfortable with it, in part because Zemo's involved, they decide, well, we don't need you anyway. We've got this new guy, this U.S. agent, he can be the leader of this team, and that can be one of the kind of inciting events for the plot of the story, that there's this new team which has some questionable members to it, and maybe they go bad, and their going bad leads to Bucky and Sam having to take them down, and then potentially it could lead to Bucky leading the team in a more heroic sense. But I personally like the incarnation of the Thunderbolts where they're all villains but they're pretending to be heroes. And if they do decide to do a Thunderbolts project, that's the direction that I'd like to see them take it. So I'm still curious. It's a bummer that we haven't gotten Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet because of everything with COVID. And fingers crossed that we'll get it sometime in the winter.
They're still filming. I thought they announced they're still filming scenes. So
Yeah, but I mean, I think the bulk of the filming is close to done. It's just a matter of some of the European scenes.
doing effects, it'd be special effects. Will be another 6 months at least, depending.
No, I'm sure they've been doing special effects throughout the pandemic. That's stuff that they can do remotely, right?
Oh yeah, you would think, but I mean, everybody's remotely working too. So I mean, it's all about computer power at that point.
Right. Let's see. There was some
What
other.
Shep said.
There
Well,
was
can I
some.
bring up some Marvel news?
Yeah, go
So
for it.
some Black Widow. There was an article that came out that said that
She on my team.
exactly, and she's got a solo, so that's why you keep winning. That Disney investors were pushing for Black Widow to get released on streaming.
Yes. Yeah, and that's been a big part that that ties into one of the big stories of the week, which is kind of unrelated to in front of the camera and more behind the scenes, is that Disney did some corporate reorganization this week, and they have moved a lot of divisions under. I want to say the guy's name is Kareem. I'm gonna forget his Carter. No, I'm just gonna look it up, guys. But the idea is that they're gonna refocus their efforts, their specifically consumer-facing efforts, on streaming, and people do think that that would mean that we'll see more projects released directly to streaming. And while I think that that's a big step that they'll probably hold off on making. I think there's still a high potential. Sorry, the guy's name is Kareem Daniel, who's going to be heading up their content consumer content division, and a lot of that has been in the news because Disney Plus has far exceeded expectations. I think they expected to get to 50 million subscribers in 4 years, and they're at 60 million subscribers in under a year. And with everything else kind of falling apart, having this one strong leg of their business is it explains why you may get a refocus. But I still think, I mean, everything we heard about Mulan. Granted, we've heard a lot of inconsistent data about Mulan, but everything we've heard is that it's still not a substitute for what a robust box office blockbuster, particularly international, would be.
Here.
What did you say? Sorry, Shaun?
I want to make a quick point here. I think, think about how big Disney is, right? Even if they were to only move Disney itself to Disney Plus and just flood the market with superheroes and Star Wars, the theaters, that would be so successful because that is where it will thrive. That is where all the families are. Those are the people that are going to be dropping $35 to get a movie opening night because they're just going to stay at home and watch it with their kids.
That's true, but
you were hired.
I mean,
can I add a caveat to that, just
sure.
by experience? Okay, so just most of the crowd doesn't know. I would generally work over in the Middle East. If you're anywhere in the Middle East, generally Disney Plus isn't available by region because any region that tends to be a pirating region for content is automatically blocked from Disney.
That happens?
What? That happens a lot. Yeah, I had to VPN a lot of stuff to be able to get it to work, right? So if you're looking at how Disney looks at, say, audiences, like how we saw the Star Wars advertisement,
right?
They changed, the size of posters to emphasize certain characters over another to play to certain markets, right?
Yes.
And while it sucks, it makes dollars, it makes sense, they make money. If you're going to go ahead and there's certain markets that you can't reach just by either U.S. law or just for the whole anti-pirating thing that they're a part of, streaming a movie isn't going to make you the money, especially lately. If you look at any of the last Marvel movies over, say, the past 5 or 6 years, you look at U.S. domestic versus international. Domestic usually ends up totaling half the amount of money, and they expect that now.
Right. They expect to do. I mean, some of the movies actually have made a larger percentage of their money worldwide, and the streaming market, it just hasn't been fully developed in these other markets. And I don't think
if you remove the box office of, like, let's say China and Europe out of that equation, which are going to get Disney Plus, does it really matter to them at that point? I don't know what the numbers are like for Middle Eastern box office.
What? Shaun
Well, I mean,
from Canada doesn't know?
Well, I mean, say take Black Panther. That was the first big production movie in Saudi Arabia, and granted, it made a few. It was the only one, so it made a ton of money there. But it was just the fact that it was Disney doing that movie there at that time, and those are those break-in markets. But you're not going to get those break-in markets in certain areas, and that's also parts of South America and Central America. There's different spots where that ban is effect on, right?
Right.
So if you're Disney's a worldwide market thing. They're not a U.S. market thing. They don't, you go to Disney World, you go to Disney Europe, you go to Disney wherever, that's how Disney to me looks at their plans. They look at trying to get everybody's money.
Right.
The mouse wants as many dollars they can get from whatever currency you got, the mouse wants.
Exactly. So while I do think that
kids and everything.
So while I do think that I could see there being somewhat of a shift in terms of what they produce here in the States, I think that they're not looking to kill off the box office movie market anytime soon. So I think that we'll see movies kind of held back as long as necessary to get a broad worldwide release. But I could imagine a world where somewhat similar to what they tried to do with Tenet, where a movie could be released internationally first, and then maybe they'll try their domestic. If it comes to that, I don't think they're. I mean, who knows? We try not to get too political here on the podcast, but we know what needs to happen next month, right? So so what needs to happen next month in the U.S. Has to happen.
No Thanksgiving.
Right. If that were to happen, if better decisions are made up at the top of the government in terms of our leadership, then hopefully by next summer there's a little bit of a recovery and people are comfortable going to the movies a little bit. But regardless of that, I could see Disney exploring here in the States the idea of buying a ticket for whatever tickets cost, but still having the opportunity to do the premium release for certain movies. And who knows if Black Widow ends up making $500 million through the premium release, the premium access release, or sorry, Premier Access, sorry, then maybe there will be a paradigm shift. But I think that Disney knows that as the vast majority of the box office, as the big player with the lion's share of the domestic box office, that the minute that they flip the switch and say that we're not doing movies in the theater anymore, they've effectively killed an industry. And I'm not sure that they want to do that.
I don't even know if it's so much. I mean, I agree with they don't want to do that, but I don't even know so much as the flipping the switch to kill the industry. But they didn't buy Lucasfilms, and then watch Marvel be successful to know that anytime they put out movies, they're guaranteed. I mean, the Marvel bar for success now is if it's under 500 million, it's a failure, and any other movie house would love to hit those numbers.
I mean, at this point, if we're not counting the Ant-Man movies, they're up around 700 to 800 million for most of their releases.
So why would you wouldn't buy Lucas and you wouldn't have the Marvel plan as successful and then suddenly give up theaters?
Yeah. I mean, even think about Star Wars. The last movie I think made 1.5 billion and was still kind of looked at as a failure because it didn't make 2.5 billion.
It was a failure because it's been made like 80 times.
We are not going to have Star Wars slander on this podcast.
Oh my god! Like seriously, like can we just like use our minds and like think of a whole nother freaking story?
No.
Like how many times do I have to watch Luke like make out with his sister or whatever he was doing?
Listen, there was a whole genre on Pornhub. So I don't know what you're talking about, but Luke making out with his sister opened up a whole new avenue in entertainment.
And in Kentucky and in all those other backward states.
Hey,
Yes, it did.
they pay money too. They pay money too.
Okay,
But
we're so friends.
and yeah, next month, listen, the Mandalorian. I hope we're all there, for the Mandalorian. Do the Star Wars heads.
Did you guys hear that the Mandalorian tech is going to be in Thor 4?
Yes, that they're going to be using some of that CGI technology, and it will hopefully make the process of the filmmaking a little bit more streamlined and smooth.
They just need to sexualize Thor more. I think he would make more money if he was just like naked most of the time.
I've thought about that. I haven't thought about that specifically.
No, Mike. We're not going to skip over that one.
So,
no.
One thing that I've noticed is that comic book fans. One thing I've noticed is that comic book fans are horny, right? They are. They just are. Listen, we have to keep it real. They're horny.
I'm blaming on Lady Death.
There is not enough sex happening in comics and in comic book movies for people's taste.
I can't see why.
and there needs to be a way to monetize that. I haven't figured out exactly how.
Oh, you've imagined it, like you just said.
So Braun figured out now.
Like there needs to be
Showtime.
That's the thing. Like unfortunately, we're talking about Disney here. Because if it like. Here's where Warner Brothers is screwing up, right? So Warner Brothers owns Cinemax, right? They could easily have a Justice League After Dark, where all your favorite DC characters are getting it on Skinemax.
It's the only time we would see any of the characters of color out of DC.
I mean, yeah. It's like, all of a sudden, Mr. Terrific got a bunch more terrific.
Yeah. So you call me Mr. Terrific.
He's so great, we just call him Mr. T now.
Exactly. Like I'm just saying, there is definitely if you told people that there was an anthology series on HBO Max, adult only, that was superheroes doing their superhero thing.
Mike would be totally on board.
I'm not the only. Listen, I am not the only one that would be on board for it.
They don't call it Skinemax for a reason.
Exactly.
Right?
Look, just you got to take advantage of.
Can you sue for hurting your hand?
Probably not.
That just means you weren't really in a game. That's all that means. Yeah. You just.
But yeah, so that's a situation where Marvel would lose out. That highly lucrative adult market for superheroes. That's an avenue that DC could win out.
I don't know. On a pivot here. Have y'all seen Hellstrom on Hulu?
So
Hellstrom?
I have not yet seen
I've been
Hellstrom.
watching Hellstrom.
Oh wow!
I like
on
it.
Hulu. Wink,
I binged
wink.
the whole thing. Yeah.
So
Wait, did I finish it? I think I finished it. I don't know. I was binging it, so I don't know.
Martine, you watch it?
I have not watched it yet.
It's okay, Martine. I'll tell you exactly what happened.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Shaun?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
No plans.
I would call it. I'd give it an 8. It was creepy.
Okay, so here's my question. Here's my question. Give me a comp of like another Marvel project in terms of quality. Like
I would say it's at least
Marvel TV. Sorry.
I would say. Well, I'll give it for another property. I would at least say it's as good as the Runaways.
Okay.
At least Runaway season 1.
Okay.
As it gets
Runaways?
on. It gets. What episode are you on, Kia?
Actually, I finished it. I just remembered.
Yeah.
And sorry, binging.
You said overall. We're talking about like as far as effects and doing neat stuff.
Yeah, the effects I thought were they left me wanting.
Okay.
Like
it's hard to do without spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. Yeah. We do not want people mad at the podcast. And say
that, this one time. No.
Don't do it.
I'll call it an 8 compared to other Marvel properties as far as taking risks and the fact of the source material.
Like they
I
could
was
have done
pretty
a lot
surprised.
I think that they could have really done a lot more with effects. And
Yeah,
I was
well,
I'll give him that.
yeah,
like
that's the
it.
downside of a lot of the Marvel TV stuff. They're not working with the big budgets that Marvel Studios is working with, so everything is a little bit
I would say
dumbed down on the effects
it's
side.
hard to do fire in CG without a good company. I will say that. That's kind of what's lacking. When you have something
Yeah.
called a Hellstrom and there's going to be fire in some way involved, fire you get like LucasArts Marvel movies. Fire looks great. You can't tell like Winter Soldier, any of the other stuff where you've seen explosions and they've enhanced it, or you get into Agents of Shield, it's TV, and
Yeah.
fire effects just never look convincing. Either they're
Well, that's what I was
really
gonna.
great or
That's what I
not.
was gonna say. I was gonna say the
even
Agents of
like the
Shield.
monster stuff like wasn't great.
Well, we should. You know
But
what?
the storyline is really cool.
The storyline is really cool. That's what brings
Yeah,
me up.
I
That's
appreciate I
the
appreciate
A part.
like that's like that's what I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna binge this because the storyline was so good.
So I think
But
we're gonna revisit this in about 2 weeks. We'll give the
2 weeks.
listeners.
2
Yeah, we'll give the
weeks.
listeners some
What kind
time
It's
to.
coronavirus. They should get that done in a freaking day.
We will give the
Like,
listeners
what are
some
they doing
time
with their
to
lives?
watch the
Nothing.
show, and then we'll
Martine
come
can
2
only
back.
cry
weeks.
over Kyle Rayner so much. You can go ahead and binge this in 2 days.
2 days. I did it in one sitting. One sitting.
I'm
'Cause I love
assuming there's
myself.
I'm assuming Martine's got like 4 hours of cry for Kyle time and a little bit.
Yeah, he
Oh
does.
wow! Why are we picking on? Why are we picking on
I'm
Martine?
not. I'm totally with him on it. He should be in there. Sean's got
Like, why
about
don't you
4
show
hours
us
of
your
Wally
Kyle
time.
Rayner Kyle Rayner pajamas? Go ahead.
don't have those,
show
no.
everybody. You know you do. You know
He
you
doesn't have
them.
them because
DC doesn't make them
Washing.
exactly.
He made it himself. He went to AC Moore.
All right, so we have one more big story, and I was saving it for last. We have actually, I suppose the right thing to do is to say that the story may be a big story, but it may not be very big.
I'm so waiting for you to tell me the story now.
So the movie Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, has cast a young woman to play an undisclosed role, rumored to be a character from another universe, and rumored to be America Chavez. That actress, I'm going to do my best for the pronunciation. That
Good luck.
actress's name
You want me to
is
do it instead?
Sochi Gomez.
Oh my gosh, Mike!
Give it to Martine.
Give it to Martine.
You were pretty close. It's Sochito.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to tell Mike, but he didn't listen to me.
Thank you for that. I had no idea how to say that.
Oh, I'm surprised, Sean. I'm really surprised.
That's
you
why
didn't
I'm
know how
here.
to say that.
That and the cry about Kyle.
So Cheeto Gomez is will be joining the Captain America. Sorry, Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. Hey, we have a very special guest here. Introduce yourself, sir.
Who's that?
Uh-oh.
Well, you got to press the you're in the thing. You have to do the call in thing.
Oh, okay. Still, the audio's still connecting. Let's try it now. Introduce yourself, sir.
Is there a dick in your mouth?
Wow, that was aggressive.
What a greeting.
I'm sorry. I thought that was universal. I thought that the
Calm down, your Negro sheet,
My
sir.
bad.
Wow. I apologize on behalf of the Racial Draft Podcast.
I don't. I thought that was universal.
We have been joined by one of the co-captains of the Black Delegation, Tass, the old nerdy bastard.
Hey, he doesn't read comics.
Wait, hold
it
on.
doesn't
His
count.
name's Old Dirty Bastard, and you guys are judging me for asking him about the dick?
Oh, wow, Kia.
What is going on? I thought that we were talking about racial drafts. Instead of talking about dicks, we can talk about dicks too.
And that is why we love him.
You missed the Justice League After Hours. You missed the Justice League
Yeah,
After Hours talk.
you missed our task. You missed out on my $1 million idea of HBO
Dicks?
partner. No. HBO Max
That is
partnering with
exact-
Cinemax to do Justice League After Hours.
with Steel playing Mr. Terrific.
But no. But in all seriousness, we were just about to talk about Sochi's casting for Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. She is widely rumored to be playing America Chavez, and since we do happen to have a Latinx individual on the podcast, I'd like to hear your thoughts, Martin.
I thought it was Shaun.
Who's to fucking say? I don't know. She could be literally no one, because they've done like those kind of like this person's been casted and they've been like showing up in like one scene or something. But the just how quick it turned into like, oh, like she's America, and then it's just like, and then like other people got onto it because like. Okay, this is the thing about America Chavez. She's not technically Latinx.
Right.
She's like from another dimension. She's basically like kind of like an alien.
Right.
She's from the utopian parallel, and she came over to Earth, bumped into like a Puerto Rican family in the Bronx, saw that she kind of looked like them, and she kind of like they took her in, and she kind of like adopted that kind of culture.
Right.
Oh, so Trump said she's Latinx then.
You threw her a paper towel.
Wow.
Yeah. I can understand why some people are like, oh yeah, like she's a Latinx actress playing a Latinx character, but it's like it's a little tricky.
Yeah,
but
definitely
like
tricky.
the amount of just how quick everyone just immediately assumed she was going to be America. Like there's other options that they could probably go with.
Right.
Like if they wanted to do like a whole multiverse thing, and they've talked maybe about like different like spider characters showing up later on. I mean, there's Anya. She could be Anya, because Anya is Mexican and Puerto Rican, so Cheeto's Mexican, and like America, if she had to identify by anything by Latin American, like she's like technically like Puerto Rican if she had to identify as anything, like specifically, because that's like the first one that she kind of like came across.
Yeah.
It's like
I actually have a question for you guys. Do you guys think that like it's really important? Is it more important to cast a person that looks like the character versus like a household name?
It kind of that's a weird question. I almost say looks like, just because Hollywood does colorism, right? Like if we had a light skinned Storm, that'd be kind of wrong.
If
yeah, what do you mean if?
I'm saying for every time
we've had light skinned Storm. Yeah. What are we talking?
But for every time we've had him, we know it's been bad, right?
Okay,
and so then it's like you get, America Chavez. She's darker skinned, and they're exactly so, and it's one of those kind of things where it's like you have to kind of nail it. It'd be kind of like if we cast Drake as T'Challa, right? You'd be like,
I mean, no matter what, as long as everything's kosher, I guess it's all good.
Okay, if Shamar Mar is T'Challa, you'd be like, what? Like,
yeah.
No, I get it, but I mean, look, I want like Task. I want to like Task has a perspective, and
he doesn't even read comics. What's this guy?
He doesn't read comics, but I do want to say one thing. I do find it funny that America. Chavez did exactly what Superman did, but she did exactly what Superman did, but no one questions him.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to talk about.
Well, you wait until Superman's Puerto Rican.
Extremely unfair of people to, put that pressure on her while Superman's just walking around like nothing problem. Like, hey,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think that happened, Taz?
But that's just me.
Yeah. But I want to say this one thing. I want to say this one thing about Superman. Superman isn't like, even though people do the thing like, truth, justice, and the American way with Superman, he's not held up as an ethnic figure. You know, like he doesn't like he's
Have to
not.
be?
What do you say?
Does he have to be?
No, no, no. He doesn't. But what I'm saying is that with America, unfortunately, because there aren't any like prominent Latinx superheroes yet in the MCU, like
Mhm.
she's coming
I
in
agree.
with a lot of fanfare, and she's coming in with a lot of
Mhm.
responsibility of people feeling
I mean,
like,
I said off rip that I hope they skip all of the multiverse mumbo jumbo and just have her be a woman from New York. Like MCU
I'm
has
actually the Bronx. Yeah.
Yeah.
really from the Bronx. You know,
uh,
not all of the events have been done immediately like the book. So I would be okay with them doing that. I do want to respond though. It can't be Anya because she's Sony. So
oh
even though
yeah,
I
good point.
love
Mm.
yeah, Anya Corazon, I'm the biggest fan. Unfortunately, Miles Morales stole all her Latin flavor. Like she was the first. Like she's like, I've been here.
Whoa, Miguel,
Yeah, yeah,
accurate.
yeah, yeah, Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, like sing.
Well,
Miles
Miguel
stole on
What
both
O'Hara,
of
about
them, though. I'm
Jesse
with Taz on
Reyes,
that.
the
but
singer?
Miguel isn't really. I mean, Miguel is one, but like that wasn't a part of him. So like
His
that
That's
was
whole
true.
more her
original
thing. She was
costume
like
is a
repping it.
Day of the Dead outfit, man.
I
I,
know, it's
I
so
agree.
dope. It's so dope.
I agree. I agree. But
Sony, listen, Sony's missing out by
but
not doing a Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man movie. Like,
Hmm.
real talk. They could
no, I
easily
agree.
do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's like cyberpunk Spider-Man, you know?
Cyberpunk Spider-Man, I'm sure Marvel wouldn't feel too bad about like the references to 2099
Mhm.
MCU, you know, if because it could
it's a
still.
Hulu show. Honestly, that's something you do. I mean, not say Hulu, but that's a Disney Plus show
No,
to me.
I think it could be a movie.
He doesn't have the name. I mean, we look for us, yes, right. But if you're talking about general audiences around the world, I
What's
think
going to
you're
make more
better.
money? What's going to make more money? Spider-Man 2099 or Morbius?
Well, I mean, it's Sony, and Sony's just desperate for cash. But honestly, they'd be smarter off doing a Disney Plus and doing what they did last time. We'll license you the money. We get a take of the percentage. We take no risk. And then if it's something good, movie.
I feel you. I personally think that Sony is so desperate for movies that
Mhm.
they're missing out by not doing, by not doing this Spider-Man 2099 because it's it's Spider-Man, which the name Spider-Man sells.
Mhm.
If you get the right casting in there and you get, all the visuals on point the way
Spider-Man
you need,
2099 by Denny Villeneuve.
maybe,
If that's
you know,
John. No,
like
look, I would love to see a Miguel O'Hara because he crosses both, and you can get your light skinned Hispanic casting.
Mhm.
That makes Hollywood happy. And I think there's a market for it, but you need something to lead into it. You know
you
what I'm saying?
think?
You
I
can't.
see it. That's the thing. I don't
I
think you
want
do. I
I
think
want more
because it's set
Afro
in the
Latina
future.
I think
movies.
Sony realized that because we got our Spider-Man 2099 reference in the Spider-Verse movie
Hmm.
at the end of the credits.
Right.
Right
Mhm.
now, to me, I would have replaced Miguel with the Spider-Man Noir guy. To be honest with you,
Nick Cage.
No, I see. I disagree. I got super hyped. I got super hyped with the post credits of Spider Verse, and
and I did. But if
Mhm.
I'm talking about, I want to make Spider-Man 2099 a thing.
Mhm.
He's got to be in the movie more than just the end post-credits thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see because he has an awesome costume. He has a great. I, I love everything about him. I'm a big legacy character fan. I love everything about him, but I would have thought that he should have been in the actual Spider Verse movie. You
Mhm.
can replace Spider-Man Noir with him because did Spider-Man Noir really do anything
well, you
specific?
see,
No, but
that's the thing though. I think that for the movie for Spider Verse, um, he didn't take away from the focus of Miles, and I
no, and
think
that's
and
why I thought he
right,
should be in it.
but I think that there's a possibility that if Spider-Man 2099 was in the movie, he might have taken a little bit away from Miles. I think that I think that he's a big enough character that he could be his own starring character.
Yeah, I'll
And
give you that.
whereas
He
Spider-Man
is.
Noir is there's it's this humor to him. He's a little bit one note, which helps in that kind of ensemble situation. And I think that whichever direction they decide to go, whether they go with a more animated direction or a live action direction, I think that the interest has been piqued in the idea of it's a sell. Spider-Man in the future is the pitch, and it's simple. It gets to the point. The costume is iconic, and if you get the right casting in there, I think that it makes a bunch of money. It doesn't necessarily make billion-dollar MCU money, but it could make strong. You could make strong money, and I think that it doesn't really need a lot of build-up because it's not really multiverse based. It's more future based.
I agree with the idea because it gets Sony out of the idea of, to me, they give up Tom Holland to the MCU so they can do it right, and then they have their own Spider-Man to play with without anything else, and you get the cyberpunk feel.
Right, and the cool thing about him is that because it's in the future, they can introduce futuristic versions of all of Spider-Man's Rose Gallery without encroaching on the stuff that we have going on in the MCU.
I still think he needs to lead it. Like if the new Spider-Verse has him more prominent as like he's the one helping to get everybody together because he's got future tech.
Yeah,
you get a great lead into a actual live action movie because then he's in the zeitgeist of people.
But you see, he needs more. But you see, this is my issue, and this ties into a lot of what's been happening in the world of rumors. I'll call it the Into the Rumorverse.
That's a show title.
Like a lot of people. Yeah, I'm gonna
trademark everybody.
That is going to be today's episode, Into the Rumorverse. A lot of people have been saying that Spider-Man 3 is going to be some kind of live action Spider-Verse, and I'm not a fan of that.
Me too.
Because I think that it has the potential to sort of just kind of upset the apple cart. I think that Sony had a good thing going with Spider-Verse, and doing animated spin-offs of Spider-Verse could really work with the style and the animation and with all the various directions they could go. But there's just no way to, I don't think, effectively cross over animated and live action in a believable and credible way. So
I agree. If I can ask Rim a question,
yeah,
for everybody, since I'm the guest here. Normally, DC animation is the top tier comic book animation, 99% of the time. But Spider-Verse to me killed him. Wouldn't, and I'll kind of throwing this towards Martine here because I got to recover since I bet I kind of threw him a jab on Kyle. No offense, I'm just saying what just happened. But wouldn't it be better to me in seeing that to see your start to introduction to actually a Latinx hero start to filter through in these multiple spots, and you actually, I mean, Miles, we know half and half, and he walks the border, but you get Miguel, and honestly, you make O'Hara part a minor bit, but made him way more Latin than not. Would it be better to see him in a better animated form? Because we've never seen a really good animated Latin character at all. Well, I'll take that back. The Netflix show when it had was it Menos or the little Latinx martial arts movie?
Tres Manos.
Tres Manos. Yeah. Which I loved. It was dope as shit and it was bloody.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen a mainstream one. Would it be better to see him this way introduced first, or would you want to see a live action Miguel O'Hara first? Not trying to speak for the people because we're black and most of us black people always have to get that question, but perspective wise.
Well, because it is a thing of like, to the non-comic book reader, you're not going to know who he is. I mean, you're going to know what Spider-Man is, and you're going to see it in the future. So just right out the bat from its own live action movie, which I would love, because I am a fan of Miguel. I don't know. I mean, yes, it would definitely make money. I feel like maybe at least like Venom money, maybe like 700-800 million or something.
That's a lot of money. That's really good.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of money. It's a surprising amount of money for some people, say, for Venom. But I don't know, because like I would love to see him. Because obviously, when he showed up into Spider-Verse at the very, very end, there definitely seems like they're gonna do something more with him, like maybe in a sequel, hopefully. But I think it could be. I would love to see a live action probably first, as opposed to just him showing up in the animated sense, because we haven't had, yes, we haven't had any like, well, aside from Miles, we haven't had like a real like Latinx kind of animated mainstream superhero, but we also haven't had a Latinx live action superhero
Right.
played by a Latinx actor who's meant to be Latinx, because that's like obviously with Jessica Alba, she was Sue Storm, but she was supposed to be playing a white chick.
Right.
That's why they gave her the blonde wig, they gave her the blue contacts. So like it's kind of tricky to say. I would say I would prefer live action. It may be better, arguably, for more animated stuff first.
Yeah. See, my sense of things is that the foundation has been laid for Miguel in a Spider-Verse follow-up. Like,
Yeah.
people are already like, and they've already got Oscar Isaac doing the voice acting for Oscar Isaac. So if they, I mean, for what do you call it, for Miguel O'Hara. So for Miggy, if they said tomorrow that the next Spider-Verse movie is going to have Spider-Man 2099 as a lead, I think people will be ready for it, and it would do as much, if not more, than Into the Spider-Verse made at the box office. However, my concern with a live action movie is that it then opens up the door to, well, how connected is it to the MCU? And a lot of time that discussion has the potential to kind of overtake any other narrative about the project. If I think that Sony could get away with saying it's just Sony, it's not connected to the MCU, because it's set in the future. You don't have to worry about crossovers and this, that, and the other. But again, Sony's track record, when it's not Marvel affiliated, when Kevin Feige's not involved, people are still a little skeptical of the quality of these movies. So I think that people would feel more comfortable with the quality of the movie if the Spider-Verse people were involved than if it was just the Sony people involved. And of course, if the Marvel people were involved and it was connected to the MCU, that's probably the highest level of people's comfort with it, and probably the highest ceiling for how well the movie could do. But I think it's less likely that Sony would cede creative control, for a live action Spider-Man 2099 movie. So then back in the Venom zone.
But what if at the very end of the cut scene, like a after credit scene, you had Miguel doing his thing or talking to whoever, and then you started seeing the Doctor Strange ring or a portal, and it just ends. And you kind of leave open the fact that he could cross over but not, or do something but not.
Yeah, but you see, that's the weird thing for me. Like, is it a different universe, or is it just future of our universe? Like, I generally think of 2099 as, what is 2020? Like 79 years in the future of our universe. And I know that there have been other kind of alternate, especially in the Secret Wars storyline, the notion that 2099 universe is an alternate universe. But I'd rather conceptualize it as the future of our universe rather than a separate side universe that happens to be, for whatever reason, 79 years on from ours.
Did Moira McTaggart and the X-Men establish that as one of the possibles, or not? I kind of forget. The X-Men fans.
Are you talking about House of X and Powers of X?
Yeah, I mean, when she died and came back, was 2099 one of the futures that she saw? That kind of tells you how mainstream it is.
No, but you got to remember all of the Moira McTaggart. Now we're getting super nerdy, guys. Sorry, apologize. Like all of the Moira McTaggart worlds are kind of in their own pocket, their own pocket universe, because as it's understood, when she dies, everything resets. So they're not separate universes. It's the same universe being rebooted.
So I'm saying, so 2099 still is possibly the future then, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way that they've explained it in the most recent 2099 storyline is that the changes that were made to the timeline have made it so everything that we read in the original 2099 storylines won't happen. That at the time it was the future, but now things have diverged enough in the present that it's only a possible future. It's only an alternate universe.
That's
But
spoiler alert.
what did you say?
That's spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert for 79 years from now. If you're listening to the podcast in 2099, we spoiled it. We spoiled that the comics that you're going to be reading are not going to be the comics that we wrote back in the 90s, in
He was a
1999.
Marine. Counting is hard.
Yeah. Um, but yeah. But I think that as an entry point, I think it's okay to talk about the 2099 world as the future of our world. I think you get a lot more out of it. Like, and if you did want to sort of do a movie where we weren't sure about whether it was in the MCU or not, you could make references to things that had already happened in the MCU. You could use the Tom Holland Spider-Man when they go through the history books and they say like, oh, there was this guy Spider-Man. He had all these adventures until unnamed calamity happened, which led to the end of the Age of Heroes, and now we're in this new age of where everything is brand new. But like I think you're right in that either option could work. And I do think that there's like I said before, I think that the runway has already been laid for Spider-Man 2099 in the Spider-Verse sequel in a way that it hasn't been laid for Spider-Man 2099 in a live action movie. And I'm a skeptic when it comes to this notion that they're going to do a Spider-Verse in Spider-Man 3. I think that there's a possibility that they could do a quick cameo. Personally, I would have preferred if they had them do voices in the Spider-Verse sequel.
Well,
Because I
let me ask you. So let's circle back to what started this question, right? The casting for Doctor Strange. What if she's not America or any of the other stuff? What if she's getting the White Tiger amulet to lead her into Young Avengers?
Ava?
Yep.
Yeah.
that would be cool.
I mean, she fits the whole type. New York, from the Bronx, if I remember right, but from New York area because it's Marvel, so it's all New York. And she gets, we all know,
Yeah.
and she gets out of the Doctor Strange movie. It's somewhere in the house of all the other mystical crap and Sanctum Sanctorum is the White Tiger Jade Amulet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, but aren't the Ayalas also Puerto Rican?
Yeah, because it's New York.
The whole White Tiger family, by that I mean the ones that are actually related to each other, are Puerto Rican, with Hector being the first one, his niece Angela being being the fourth White Tiger, and then Ava, the most recent one, is his little sister, and she's younger than Angela. So some people have a hard time wrapping their heads around the fact that the niece is older than the aunt.
It happens.
It does. And I did a whole explanation of it really depends on when their parents started having kids.
Yeah.
And how long they kept trying to have kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a New Yorker, and I know this is outside of my lane, like ethnically, but like as a New Yorker, I like when my New York characters are still from New York, and I know how important, whether it's Puerto Rican or Dominican, or even some of the other Latinx ethnicities that are represented in Spanish Harlem and the Bronx. Like, it would feel a little bit of disingenuous if they had more like Mexican ethnicity
Mhm.
based in New York, because that's just not a huge community here.
Mhm.
So I'm tying it back to the notion that people were thinking that that Sochi was playing America Chavez. Some people were upset because
Mhm.
of her complexion, but
Yeah.
I was a little bit more I'd say more skeptical than upset. I was a little bit more skeptical because while, like you mentioned, one of the issues about America is that she's very like pan Latina.
Mhm.
Because even in her origin, she talks about the fact that she was adopted by a Puerto Rican family, but then she travels the world into different communities, and she kind
Mhm.
of adopts them, adopts or is adopted by them. So
Mhm.
there's definitely an avenue by which America can be Mexican,
Yeah.
and still be authentic to America.
Mhm.
But
It is, but
she
that
but she
I
has to
think
be New York. You know what I mean? Like she has to have like the New York element to her for
Mhm.
me to really like believe her.
Mhm.
well, see, that was my whole thing. Like that's why I thought she'd be if she was White Tiger would fit in. It's a mystical amulet. We know they're trying to build Young Avengers. You can cast America later on as the reason for whatever because she dimensionally teleports, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
But I would think that if you have just her there, you take away the family legacy because there's a lot to explain, or just the fact that all of my relatives have died, and I have these three pieces of amulet because just
Hmm.
for our intro to comic book fans, the original White Tigers all had just a piece of the White Tiger element,
Hmm.
Mhm.
that amulet that later gave them their powers, and Ava's the one who put it together,
Hmm.
right? And that's why she's like a super badass. And you saw her in the latest Spider-Man cartoon that was
Right?
going on.
Mhm.
She
Yeah,
was a
she's been in a
prominent
couple of
character.
Spider-Man cartoons, if I remember it.
Yeah, but she was a very prominent character in the last Spider-Man
Hmm.
cartoon. She was
Yeah.
seen as a leader, as the most analytical one, the whole nine yards. So you kind of have definitely
Hmm.
a fan base that you've built.
Right.
Mhm.
Iconic costume would look great on screen. The
Yeah.
whole white with the gray tiger stripes is a great look. Would
Mhm.
look awesome on screen, no matter what material you put to it. And I think that to me, instead of her being America, which would still be awesome because I like America, but I think having her in a mystical tie sense would
Hmm.
tie better to Doctor Strange, introducing her to the universe. Even
Mhm.
if she just found the amulet, or it was in
Right.
her possession, or
Yeah.
any other things, and you can ignore her family stuff. Because I kind of agree with Task. If you're doing America Chavez, you ignore her past and rebuild it for MCU.
Hmm.
Mhm.
The same thing for Ava.
Well, see,
And
see here,
and
see, I kind of disagree with you on in this respect. Like I mentioned before, Marvel has done a really piss poor job in terms of uh, representing Latinx characters so far,
totally agree.
and I think that introducing a family of superheroes
Mhm.
gets like four characters, four Latinx superheroes for the price of one. You
Oh, no,
know, like
no,
like
I love it.
like
I'm a legacy dude.
yeah.
I'm 100%
So
with you. I would love it.
so I would rather if we're going to get a White Tiger project, I'd rather have a project where even if we meet the youngest one,
Mhm.
in the context of meeting the youngest one, we explore all of the backstory, and
Oh,
maybe we sort of tie it into the notion that people don't know about her. Or not her, sorry. People don't know about the original White Tiger because of the fact that they're Puerto Rican.
oh no,
Because of the fact that
I would love that because you could have it originate in Puerto Rico and then it being brought over when a lot of Puerto Ricans came over to
Mhm.
New York and imported. And it's a magical amulet, and we know that there's always been magic users in MCU because of Doctor Strange, and it always have been there.
Right.
And you could get flashbacks of them fighting the Nazis whenever they tried to
Hmm.
go into New York when Captain America was gone. So you can do the World War II thing. You can go McCarthyism time all the way through and have a generation to me of Latino and Latina actors that we all know and that would definitely draw
Yeah.
butts into theaters have been different white
Right. Parts
tigers
of
through time.
right parts of this White Tiger
Oh yeah,
legacy. Like
I
I mean
I
I
would
know
love that.
I know it's cliched when people go it's like our Black Panther or whatever. Like I know that's like a cliche thing, but but the idea of there being a superhero legacy in this community that has its own rich
Culture.
rich
Hmm.
culture, it would be just bad
Monumental.
business. Right. Not only would it be monumental, but it would be bad in business to not do that.
Oh,
With
I'm 100% on
with
board, and I would love to see
specifically
it.
specifically with the white tiger persona. So but sort of spinning back, I think
Want
that a lot of
to
people with
disappear for 1 second on
sure,
Brett.
I think a lot of people are very keen on
Hmm.
America because there is that tie to the Young Avengers. There
Yeah.
is that idea that if we're doing like box quote unquote box checking,
Yeah.
it's not just that she's a Latinx character. It's also that she's LGBT,
Hmm.
and there aren't a lot of characters that are prominent in that respect either.
Yeah.
And like I can be talked into the idea of because like you said before, technically speaking,
Yeah.
ethnically, like the ethnicity of America Chavez is not set in stone.
Yeah.
What is
Because
set in
it is.
stone is the cultural connection to Latinx people. And as
Hmm.
long as they do the work to build that, as long as they, show her having connections to different communities and being
Hmm.
able to be authentic, one of the sadder things, and I know someone touched on it. One of the sadder things is and this also ties into to a question that you asked, Kia. Comic book characters are illustrated different ways.
Hmm.
It's very difficult for there to be one canon representation of a character. And one of the things that we know about people of various backgrounds, but specifically Latinx people, is that you can look different, in terms of how dark you are based
Hmm.
on a number of conditions.
Yep.
It would not surprise me if Sochi, could is would be darker than some of the glamour photos that we've seen of her in other projects, where perhaps colorism was at play. Perhaps they wanted her to be lighter, you
Hmm.
know. But I don't doubt that she could fill out the costume and look like a super authentic and super believable America Chavez.
Hmm.
Everything that I've heard about her performances in Babysitter's Club suggests that she has the acting chops, and I think that given that a lot of it is about the multiverse, that having this kind of young character that knows the ins and outs of the multiverse, could work
Hmm.
and could transition nicely into wherever they take the Young Avengers. I'm, not necessarily. I don't know a lot of young actors, so I couldn't necessarily say that she would have been my first choice, but I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt to kill the role if she does turn out to be America Chavez.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily feel like it's a shame that we kind of lost Task for a while, because Task was at the forefront of a lot of discussions of people who were doing a lot of projecting when it came to America Chavez, feeling like there's only one way to perfectly portray the character, and
Yeah.
if you don't go that one way, that the character is not authentic. And I didn't think that was fair, because there's still a lot of room for artistic license. And again, I don't want to overtalk you, Martine, but I mean, does a lot of what I'm saying kind of make sense?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I actually saw a lot of that discourse that Taft was going through on Twitter about because like so many people have gotten in their head that she's supposed to be Afro Latina, like they because she's very darker, but uh, you know there are just a lot of dark brown Latinas out there. I mean, they just immediately saw and did kind of like project that she's supposed to be this one very specific kind of Latina,
Hmm.
and there was like a lot of discourse about that technically she's not and that she's like brown and like all this stuff, and then like if you see her parents, they're two white women, like two white looking
Yeah,
women.
they're light. They're much lighter.
Yeah. So like, I don't know how genetics work in the utopian parallel.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know if one was maybe lying about like, yeah, this is yours, she's yours. But like, if
And
we just
Bicho's a
take
hell of
their-
a thing.
Well, no, the thing is, there's no tanning in the utopian parallel. That's the problem. Like they're all super pale.
She your daughter, I punch squares, she punches stars, you do circles.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but like, I saw a lot of that discourse, so I do completely understand where you're coming from, and it is such like an interesting thing that, because this is obviously a big thing in the Latinx community about
Yes.
like, especially dealing with colorism,
Right.
you know, because we come in every color of the rainbow, you know, like I in my family alone, my mom is actually pretty light, and she's the Mayan one. She's like my grandma was like very, very like straight out Guatemala capital, like Pueblo, like the whole gown and everything. She was Mayan, you know, like. But my mom, she looks fairly light skinned, and I also have other light skinned cousins. I have Afro Latinx cousins as well. My uncle in Mexico married a Japanese woman, and now they have two Japanese Mexican daughters, but they're still Latinas. You know, like we come in all different shades, and like so, like it is. And then there's like, and this is a whole other thing that Hollywood has basically projected, that there is very one specific way,
Right.
like that we're supposed to quote unquote look.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case, and that's but you do see a lot of Latinx actors that do fit that mold, get more of the spotlight, more or less. And then like white Latinx actors, they can never really play Latinx. Like so maybe have any of you seen the show Psych?
Yep.
Yes.
Or heard of it?
Yeah.
The main guy that played Sean Spencer, James Roday, it's James Roday like Rodriguez now. He's also half Mexican.
Right.
But he can never, when he started out, he can never get, because of his complexion, any Latino roles. But because of his name, because he was going by his actual name of like Rodriguez, he can never get any white roles either.
Right.
And that same thing kind of happens for like Afro Latinx actors.
Right.
Like they
Like Gina Torres.
Gina Torres, Laz Alonso, Megan Good, a lot of these like Afro Latinx kind of like actors, because they don't fit the mold of what we're supposed to look like, which is
Megan Good is Afro Latina?
Yeah, she's Puerto Rican.
This whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, she was born. I'm pretty like
blew my mind.
Just blew my mind.
I just stared at the booty, so you know.
Yeah.
I did too. Like I was like,
I just thought it was
Megan. Service, Keith.
I just thought it was Megan Good hair, and that's
that's exactly what it was about, Megan Good. Yeah.
Megan got the goodie is what it was.
But no, I take your point.
Before WAP?
But and this ties to something. But this ties to something else that I was saying that I continue to sort of hammer on, is that it's not fair when something's not diverse to ask one person and one character or one actor to represent an entire race, an entire group of people that has so much diversity within it. You know, it would be great if she wasn't the first major Latinx actress in a big movie, so we wouldn't think, oh, she could be this character, she could be this. Like, it's one thing to think that she could be this character. It's another thing to feel like if we don't get that character at this point, we might not ever get the character.
I think it'd almost be great if she was an adult, because I mean, we asked Chadwick of this, and he was in his 30s, getting into the Black Panther role, right? And that was heavy, and that was after he did, James Brown, and after he did 42. To do all these roles, to look at a teenager and say be these things, that's even rougher.
Yeah. And
and
the thing
that's
is, and what's funny is that with Black Panther, we had already had Nick Fury, we already had Sam Wilson, we already had War Machine.
Brody.
Like with
Yeah.
Rhodey, we had black characters. So when we got Black Panther, it was like, okay, so now we get the like
But we
alpha,
know, yeah,
you
we
know,
know that's the real
the holy
meat.
grail, right?
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, even Luke Cage. Like I wasn't a huge fan of Mike Coulter's portrayal of Luke Cage, but I get it. He had a huge responsibility playing Luke Cage as well. You
And
know?
what they do
Is that
through
what
a
you
lot
want to
of
call it? A huge responsibility?
well, you Kia, we call it that. But but what they do behind Mike to make sure that he was say black enough was a lot of New York hip hop, Wu
Yep.
Tang. A lot. I mean, the soundtrack for the whole Luke Cage thing was like hip hop's greatest hits.
And they slid
You know?
Mahershala in there to like really like cover the bases.
Yeah.
Like so
I mean,
so
it was a conscious effort to give him a villain, honestly, as dark as him, so you didn't get the light skinned or extra dark skinned villain thing. And the only other people who deal with that is the Latinx culture. There's extreme light skinned and dark skinned too. I've been up and down South and Central America a lot in my lifetime, and Martine knows there's a thing. I mean, there's a hell. You take, we go back to rolling back to the beginning of the show to Brazilian Wonder Woman.
Mhm.
Is she light skinned or is she dark skinned? They made a very good choice of kind of making her medium to go across the culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Sunspot super looking.
That is don't get me started with
Well,
don't get me
a totally different
started
show.
with
I
Bobby
get.
DaCosta.
A totally different
Ah!
show. But Sunspot goes from California Malibu white to dark. Even as his original portrayal, and that's always been a thing, right? So then you get this. It's different in comics. It's colorist, and we all get on Twitter and whatever else we can rail. And we've actually seen Marvel and DC too make some changes when they can see the tides changing. But that's a lot different on a colored book. Not to take away from our passion here, versus a young woman doing this thing. It is a horrible thing for her. And it's the only thing I disagree with having to, and it sucks, and I hate this, but it's a lot different to have somebody Martine's age and older up to me as a young man.
Yeah.
Doing this than an actual teenager having to put all of that on her shoulders.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, she's never going to be dark enough or light enough or anybody who has any Latino relatives or you're dating or married or whoever to say the right words, because Puerto Ricans say, orange color and orange fruit differently versus, of course, in Latin America. There's a judgment that's, official thing of who speaks the pure Spanish versus Spain.
Mm-hmm.
How that's going to be judged. You're going from, from Mexico all the way down through South America, let alone the Puerto Rican islands, let alone the country of Spain, who is going to have an input because people want their hero and they deserve it. They deserve it as much as Black Panther, as much as Shang-Chi is going to be portrayed in a non stereotypical way. They deserve the same thing. It deserves, and there's a
100%.
lot of.
And one major thing that they deserve is diversity within the culture, within the ethnicity.
Because every Latino's the same as us. They go as almost as dark as us, definitely as dark as you and I, Mike, if not darker, to way lighter, right? And Martine, see Martine shaking his head.
Yeah.
No.
And beyond that culture, that culturally, there's weirdly enough, like I said before, the fact that America tends to be sort of pan Latinx,
which I would say is smart on Marvel's part because that lets you market across the board.
Yeah.
But that works for a drawn character a lot better than it works for a real person that has to step into those shoes.
Yeah.
And I think that I hope that they get the right creative people involved to create that kind of synergy. Because I can, like you said before, different backgrounds, different countries. Different. I mean, I remember seeing it growing up. Because in my ignorant ass, when I was a teenager, I didn't know distinctions, and then I had to be schooled all the time about. It's like, oh no, no, no. Dominicans don't fuck with Puerto Ricans. Like, what?
To everybody else, we're familiar. To everybody coming out, and as soon as everybody leaves the room,
Yeah,
and I get that.
I have
like
a
you
quick
said,
question.
Sure.
75%
This might be a
Dominicans are
dumb one. But considering that Dominicans and Haitians live on the same island, are Haitians considered Spanish?
You mean Latinx?
Latinx, yes.
Well, you already saw Shaun's answer. I mean, Martine's answer. Look, go Martine.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
if
You saw the look on this.
If you were gonna say Hispanic, no, because Haiti was not like colonized.
It was a French colony.
Yeah, exactly. Latinx is where it gets a little tricky because I know a lot of there's definitely a lot of Jamaicans that don't really consider themselves the same. It's the same thing with like Guyana, which is also a country in South America.
Yeah.
But was colonized by I think it was English. Some of them don't really technically consider themselves Latinx, because if they did, then technically what's her name? I forget her name. Who plays Shuri?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's from.
She's Guyanese. Yeah.
Yeah. So then technically she would be Latinx actress in there, but it's a little tricky sometimes. A lot of times people consider Latinx as just the Spanish speaking places, and then the places that speak Portuguese, like Brazil. So
right.
I'm Portuguese, just saying, just throwing out there. Thank you, 23andMe.
Letitia Wright was the actress. I'm sorry.
Letitia Wright. Yes.
Yeah, until I see you in one of those Brazilian dancing outfits.
Hey, Toronto, I'm coming.
So yeah, it's a little tricky sometimes. Cause some do consider themselves, others don't. Because obviously I'm not Haitian or anything like that, so I wouldn't know straight out. But everything that I've seen about online discourse, it's a confusing subject.
Right.
I don't know what to say. Maybe.
The Haitian people that I know don't. The Haitian people I know consider themselves as black, but they consider themselves Haitian, which is a better black.
Wait, isn't it?
We want you Negroes being beaten in Georgia black. I get it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But they do consider themselves black, just better black.
Wait,
but
I'm confused. Okay.
What? Well,
that's
wait. Why are you confused?
I'm asking because my ex-husband was Haitian, so.
Well, he's your ex for a reason, right?
I was told by somebody in my family. I don't want to throw her under the bus, Mom. But when I
thank you for that Marine bravery.
Yeah, when I got with him or whatever, she's like, he's not black, he's Haitian, and I didn't. Is that is there really a different
I mean, there's a cultural difference for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, culturally, yes. Okay, I get that, but
I think for us, it's a struggle difference. Is okay. For me, I'll use me as an example. My last name is Shepherd, out the Bible, a shepherd who herds sheep. Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
When I traced my family back as far as I could go, it was slaves owned in Virginia, and that's where I got the last name because half of slaves either took free names or half of the other slaves took names of their slave owners and went on, right?
Yeah.
Shepherd. But if you get somebody who's got where's Shaun at? I know he's there somewhere. Who's got a Frenchish last name or a Haitian last name, it's a different struggle. Do they go through their own thing that was, to me, equal? Of course. But did they have the struggle part they went in? No, they had their own revolution. It was a whole different thing that compared to the American Revolution. So there is a sameness but a divergence, and you get that same. And Martine, let me know if I'm wrong. In the Latinx communities too, if like I said on the outside, you're going to clan up because if they're going after Mexicans, they're going to go after Puerto Ricans, they're going to go after Salvadorians, Panamanians, Romanians, whatever. But as soon as that spotlight's away, their differences show up. It's in culture, it's in language, it's in food.
Yeah, different dialects, everything.
So it's going to be the same. Yeah, so it's going to be the same way with us too. You have American blacks who grew up and went through our particular struggle versus Haitians who had their particular struggle, who had,
Mhm.
it's the thing. And so bringing it back to comics again, you have Black Panther who had this pan struggle because in comics he's a king. If you go back to his originals appearance, where you don't have to edit nothing, he beat the Fantastic Four. It was Wyatt Wingfoot, a Native American, which I think is dope, who was the only one he didn't account for because he was really concerned with Fantastic Four. But when he came out, that was a big deal. He beat the FF when this was Marvel was Golden Suit Iron Man with transistors. Thor and his Thor kind of, Strange Tales thing. You only had Spider Man, Ant Man and the Wasp only were in Avengers. For a black dude, a black character come out and beat the FF, the premier flagship of Marvel, was a big deal. So then you spin forward, the first actually declared fully Latinx character is going to have so much on their shoulders. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't want her to be America. I want her to be Anya, because I think as Anya walking in as a New Yorker with a legacy, and I'm with Mike on this. Yeah, excuse me, Ava. I'm sorry. Please, apology. But having her walk into this, oh, we're a generational hero. At the same time, you saw Cap first, become Captain America and fight Nazis. You go over and you flash some fast forward or some background stuff to fight. Not you would make such a cemented thing with her versus and her leading into Young Avengers versus say an America, which honestly you like you said, America's pan Latinx, right? Where do you float her skin color at?
Yeah, I mean that again. That's the pressure of having to represent,
A
everybody,
culture. Yeah, and that's what Black
everybody.
Panther did. And if it wasn't Chadwick, honestly, let's take it
But
out. Take out Chadwick.
right,
Who
but
would
here's
have done
but
it?
here's the other thing: the missing, the beauty, um, of what do you call it? Sorry, the beauty of what Ryan Coogler did is that he didn't just center T'Challa; he centered the whole nation of Wakanda. You know, he made it bigger than just one man. And in doing so, that was so much more inclusive of the black, obviously not the black experience, but black people could find their entry point because they couldn't, even if they couldn't be the Black Panther, they could be
Yeah.
part of Wakanda. They can be
Yeah,
part
because
of.
Wakanda took a lot of tech from all places
Yeah,
and stuff like
but
that.
your whole
And
point of Ryan doing it, because Ryan did his own film, right? But
Yeah,
when Black Panther was introduced, it wasn't a Ryan
that's
Coogler
right.
film.
It's.
So when you're taking this character, to me, we'll say it's America.
Mhm.
You want the snippet of America to get people interested who don't know America
Mhm.
into it, but the America movie or the America part to where, like, say Champions is in, or New Avengers, or whatever you want to call it, or Young Avengers, or wherever you want to put this next
Yeah.
phase, you have to have somebody who understands that part of the culture. Because okay, we've established a black superhero in Black Panther, we've established the Falcon, War Machine. Cult people are used to seeing now black superheroes with power, right?
Mhm.
Now you're going to go ahead with this Latinx character with power. Somebody has to me, be the director to understand that, and it
Right.
cannot be whoever. It cannot be, and I hate to say this, random white guy doing this. It has
No,
to
no, it
be
it can't.
somebody of color, but somebody who's maybe biracial, who's
No, I think
Latinx
it
to
has to
some
be.
degree.
I think it has to be someone who also understands the different nuances of different communities. I mean, ideally, you want director, writers, in addition to fully fleshed out cast members. And again, it's a weird. It is kind of a weird dichotomy because I think that there's a lot of story that can be told with the White Tiger legacy, like we said before, that lends itself to either a show or a movie in a way that America's story is still being written.
Yeah.
It's like we had the solo book that mixed results. Um, and I know that there's supposed to be another America solo book that's going to drop sometime this year or maybe early next year. So maybe that's where we'll see the streamlined version of, there tends to be a lot of now that, especially now that Kevin Feige's involved in the creative side on the Marvel Comics, I could imagine that there might be some groundwork done, much in the way that Ta-Nehisi Coates did a lot to modernize Black Panther, and give him a streamlined version that fit with modern sensibilities. I could see whoever, I can't remember who's supposed to be writing the America book, but fingers crossed that this America book might accomplish some of the same things as far as rooting her in these communities and making her story feel organic. But it is going to be weird if they introduce her as a character and don't greenlight a solo project for her.
Mm-hmm.
That in of itself is going to be distinct is going to be a distinction from
Yeah.
what they're doing for Black Panther.
So what would we like to see? And I kind of, I'm going to peg a little bit to you, Martine, because you're half of me. But what would you like to see? Would you rather see her develop into like a Marvel Plus series, or would you? Which, I mean, granted, for the audience is still Scarlet Witch and Vision, who are main characters in a Marvel movie, and Captain America and Winter Soldier, who are also main characters in a Marvel movie. Do we want to see her graduate from a Marvel Plus to a mainstream, or do we want her to go right to a mainstream? I mean,
if she's America.
Yeah, we'll say she's America.
Okay. It's because like obviously like there's like you can do a lot more storytelling with like a series, but it would just because there's that whole thing like she would technically be the first technically because
Right.
like we have Latinx like actresses in the MCU, but they're not playing Latinx characters.
Right.
Zoe Saldana, Tessa Thompson, Salma Hayek, Lauren Ridloff.
Although I would say that isn't the kind of the jury out on Selma yet, since it hasn't been done. She could be the reason for Aztecs or Mayans.
That's true. There's a possibility for that.
Yeah, but there is that whole like when it came out, it's like they were the description of like, oh, these are like ancient aliens. Like they very specifically said the word alien.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I say that is just because traditionally the internals have been always typed in Greece, right? But when to me, I would think it would make more sense internationally to say they're Aztecs or Mayans, Egyptians, all like the great
pantheon.
The pantheon of old stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would definitely make a lot more sense that way. But like I do feel like maybe it would be it is because she's like such a new character as well. Like making it a movie could work, like depending on like it's got to be the exact like right people, like you said. I a series exploring different aspects of Latinx culture, because like that would probably there's only so much you could explore in a movie. Maybe the series, if she was like, let's say if she was Ava, that's with that whole kind of like history,
right?
That's when I definitely would say, yeah, that should definitely 100% be a movie. Because like you are very specifically focusing on her and her like family's history with these mystical items, like it's their stuff. They're their secret kind of like secretive heroes of this neighborhood.
Right.
Like, and that's why you don't see them going out and dealing with other shit, because they got enough shit to deal with around their own fucking neighborhood.
Right. And given the history of racism and everything, there's something to the idea of staying local and staying secretive, because you might not be embraced as a hero in the white community.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, maybe like Hector and Ava, because they're full body.
Yeah.
Angela is like, you can see part of her, like you can see some of her skin, and it's just like that might be a little too dark for us. but it, no, yeah. Like,
I mean, if it were up to me, I would want to see both, right? If it were up to me, I would want to see an American movie and a White Tiger series, because like you said, the storytelling, the ability to tell the multi-generational story. You could add in, more generations. If you did a TV show, you could kind of go in and have a full out legacy that stretches back to the island.
Mhm.
And with America, because there's not a lot of story to tell,
Yeah,
you can
maybe the
just
movie would
give
probably
her
be
like
better.
one good, awesome story that
Yeah.
involves a lot of like ass kicking and traveling through different dimensions and and just
Mhm.
like being awesome. But
Yeah.
the downside of America is that she's still a little young. The
Yeah.
Yeah.
actress is still a little young. I
Mhm.
When I imagine America as a solo character, I usually think of her as like about 20. You know?
18s, early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why Ava lends so well to a good, Disney Plus series to me, because you would be able to explore all these. You'd have, from the older, Latinx actors to some of the newer day guys, and you have to realize like who's on the Disney roster, right? Who
Yeah.
played Poe? Who is a
Hmm.
open face? Who's played the Mandalorian? Who's an open face? But it's such a rich history. I'm a big White Tiger fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to say, just put it
Yeah.
out. But there's such a rich,
No,
hey,
listen, I can't lie. A White Tiger movie would
yeah,
be a bigger opportunity to cast every big Latinx actor
yeah.
in
Yeah.
the same way that Black Panther
I want
got
Christella in
like,
there because I
yeah,
love that show and I think she's
yeah.
awesome and
No, no,
she's
but what
got
I'm
some
saying is that
presence,
like
Yeah,
oh, there's a strong argument that if you did a White Tiger, like called it like Legend of the White Tiger, right? And
Mhm.
you did like a movie where it explored the mythology and the
Yeah.
legacy. You could bring in like every big name, Edward James almost, you know what I mean? Like you bring in
Mhm.
like,
well, he's the
e-
first,
you know what I mean? Like every actor
Yeah.
that people know that's Latinx you would try to find a role for them in
Mhm.
this legacy story, and add the Marvel sheen to it. Come up with a connection to MCU, and I think that there's a high upside for that.
Mhm.
Um,
well, just because I think like if you take Black Panther, that came out, but you had his appearances and other stuff. He has a big comic library. There
mhm.
isn't one for White Tiger. White Tiger's never had a solo series, right?
Angela has.
Well, true, but it was limited. It was what Marvel Knights, I believe, if I remember. You know what I'm saying? But there's not a big bulk of a library. Like I said, Black Panther goes back to beating up the Fantastic
Yeah,
Four.
and
You
there's
can't
like,
deny it.
right.
Mhm.
So if you do a Disney Plus series, you get to explore all these things. You get to have these awesome flashbacks, and in the
Hmm.
flashbacks, as you know, Almos is doing his thing because he's got the best. He's got the second best voice next to like
James Earl
really
Jones.
James Earl Jones. He's got that iconic voice, and you get a younger, a guy, Latinx actor we went on to roll up doing the flashback scenes. You have all this potential to
Yeah,
build this thing to start running into Young Avengers, right?
right.
Because I want to see Ava as a Young Avenger. I want to see Patriot, whoever that could be, as a Young Avenger.
Mhm.
All these other people will roll up, but just the potential to have a series to do, because Marvel's already showing they're doing a limited series to build into movies.
Hmm.
Scarlet Witch and the Vision, it's going to go into multiverse. So if the whole plan is series into movies, to me that's
Yeah,
the best route to do this
yeah,
rich background thing.
yeah. But I guess there's a part of me that's thinking, you know, like in the realm of like billion-dollar upside, what
Mhm.
movie like has the pieces that could be put together to create that billion-dollar upside? And I
Mhm.
guess even though there's not a lot of source material,
Mhm.
for White Tiger, there's a lot of there's a lot of blank slate. There's a lot of story that has been told, but there's a lot of story that could be fleshed out
Mhm.
in such a way that could add a lot of star power.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
with
no, no,
America.
great.
With America, it's her story,
Yeah,
more than it's anyone else's story. She's not really connected. The utopian parallels is kind of like an ethereal thing.
Mhm.
It's not Asgard. It's not Asgard. It's not Wakanda. It's not a place that
Well,
you
you
know.
can make it that, but I think she's a better bridge to doing things because of her power set
Right.
than if you're trying to tell a good Latinx focused story. Like, because
Exactly.
Utopia again is pan out there, but it's space out there, and it's something we haven't talked about. But if you're trying to ground, like, here is a Latinx based character who you could go all the way back if you want to
Hmm.
the conquistadors or some other bullshit or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much things that you could make. It's like there's enough of a grounding to where if you're a fan like us or
Hmm.
comic kids, you can go, oh yeah, here's an Easter egg for us, and you can
Right.
point it out to your boyfriend or girlfriend who will be like, whatever the fuck are you talking about?
Like
You dragging me to,
you could have
you
some
know,
kind of like thing where like T'Chaka and like Hector Ayala knew each other. You
hmm
know,
oh, there you go,
like
right
you could
there.
have a Black Panther White Tiger team up, in 1970s, and it fits within the parameters of what the MCU has already given us.
White Tigers in L.A. There's so many things that you can do that I think deserve had to have a history to say, hey, when Captain America was doing his shit, because we know from
Hmm.
the movies and the comics, Black Panther was doing his shit.
hmm
This Latinx character was doing his shit too. So when Captain America went off to war and the Nazis were trying to invade New York, New Jersey, along the coastline, the White Tiger was the one whooping their ass and keeping the Nazis out.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and to me, you would have such a tie-in or these different things that you could do because America was designed to be pan,
Hmm.
right? To go across generational. She's a blank slate, which is good for stories, which is almost bad because in the audience is like the actor. Then that's when you start going back to where the actress needs to be honestly kind of medium brown because she's got to identify up and down to people's tias
Hmm.
to whatever else. Oh, that
Well,
looks just like tia
what I'm
this,
here's
you know.
but here's what I'm hoping though. The direction that I'm still hoping that they go with America is almost like the Superman story. You know,
hmm
Yeah.
it's the idea of this godlike figure coming to Earth, being raised by salt of the earth people who instill in her these values, and they help to make her into the hero that she is meant to be. And
It's true, but I'm
and
going to
the,
look at Martine and go, where does she land?
but that's what I'm saying. My point is that instead of landing in Kansas, she lands in Spanish Harlem, or the Bronx.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like, and she's immersed in the culture that's there, and that helps to springboard her into becoming the hero that she
But
is,
you're a New
even at a young
Yorker.
age.
But you're a New Yorker. What if she lands in Spanish side of Oakland?
I mean,
She lands in southern of the border, Texas. Like there's a
yeah.
thing.
I mean,
She
there's
lands in
yeah,
San Antonio. You know.
right. No, I mean, again, bias, New York bias. I'm always mad. I'm always mad when they move a character out of New York. Like I was fine. Actually, weirdly enough, I was actually fine that they made Killmonger from Oakland instead of from Harlem.
hmm
Um, Mostly because of how well Michael B. Jordan played Tupac. Oh, sorry, I mean Killmonger.
Kill pop.
Killpac. Um, like I thought it worked.
Have a kill.
Like I thought it worked very well. But I mean I'll accept it. I will accept it if America is relocated to the West Coast. But I mean, she's gonna be in if she's gonna be in Multiverse of Madness, she should probably be in New York. Because that's close enough to where Doctor
Now,
Strange is.
if I yes for the Amulet, but Martine, you tell me if I'm wrong. I would almost rather her be along the southern, from Texas going to West Coast up. Only because that's where you get the most multicultural people between either say Florida, but we pretend Florida doesn't exist.
But she's
But you
got the
start going
ability
up
to
the west
punch.
up.
She's got the ability to punch portals into any city that she wants to be, any place where there are Latinx people. She can go. I'm just saying that her roots should be
New York.
in. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I'm down with it, but I would think it would be funny if she was just, wearing this rocking insane in the membrane came on.
I'm just saying her style. Her style is such a Boricua style. If we're being real.
Yeah, like her jacket.
Like
Yeah, her jacket definitely 100%. Like why she would take the America colors and star thing would definitely be that's a Benico thing. I agree with that. But
yeah. So
but just to twist a knife in you a little bit, she can be from Oakland.
well,
Martine, where would she be at? Where would she be from?
Realistically, I would want her to be like land. If she lands anywhere, like I would keep her in New York. I would. I
my
honestly
man,
would.
my man.
So there's some bias here.
But no, but here's the thing.
Yards.
But here's what I know. But in all seriousness, I'm fine if they make her travels be a situation where her roots are in New York, but she's able to go to all these places, including
Oh my God, yeah.
including these other areas.
I
And
mean, she'd be doing the New York red pork chops to quesadillas to going to Central America doing pupusas to rolling on. She should be
right to Florida and and the Cuban culture.
Florida.
No, we gotta give them a little bit love too. Like and that would still be in a way that they could introduce actors of those different backgrounds to basically be mentors and be support figures in her life. If we assume that she comes to Earth at like 5 and she has like a decade under her belt before we meet her, that's a lot of room. That's a lot of opportunity to be accepted into these different communities and to
So she's
feel...
Dora the Explorer with superpowers. Is that what we're trying to...
Yeah.
No, I mean it's more of like stamps on the passport. It's like
I get that.
she's going to all these different places. She's soaking in the culture. She knows all the dishes. She knows all the local lingo. And any community where they speak Spanish, America is welcome. Like.
I think it works if they make the little point of that she code switches in her community.
Right. That's what I was. I guess I
have a question.
Sure.
Because I wanted to bring this up forever ago. If this movie was hypothetically to exist, would Louise be a great cameo in it? Penis.
You said penis. You know what?
Drinking way too much for that. To be funny.
That would be an awesome post-credit scene. Like
just him explaining everything.
Yes. So
him being at like a party or something, like a family dinner, and then you just see him and he's like the cousin in the far back, just talking to everybody.
No. I was thinking it's like,
you know what? Holy shit, that would be like the most awesome intro. I've got my cousin. I mean, she's not my cousin, but she's my cousin.
Yeah, I know
penis.
I was thinking of the scene where like they're in the same place and like it's like, so you're new here, so let me tell you what you missed. He goes through all the
But
things.
Shaun almost has like the perfect intro if you're gonna do a pan cultural America, and that's the person she attaches to because that's one of her cousins, and he's like telling her, "Oh, I'm doing right. Oh, you're my person, Ant-Man. He's my boy." Da da da. And because honestly, for anybody who was ever new to the movies, he had the best cut down of the movie. It's like,
I'm still mad that we didn't get a scene either before Endgame or Infinity War of
like
Luis recapping
Yeah.
like everything that happened in the MCU thus far. Like there's still a part of me that wants that. So like I would love a scene where America shows up. Like she punches through a portal, right? And Luis is there and it's like, "Oh, this is what you need to know. This is Doctor Strange." He's like
it's like, how do you know these people? Oh, Scott tells me this and that. Every now and then, this used to suit,
Yeah, I'd be with it. I'd be with it if Luis and America became fast friends.
I mean,
Yes.
make that her cousin. Make that the
Approved.
intro to Make that the intro to everything because
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're at the same family functions, the
I'm.
same Tia.
I mean, did we all know we needed Luis's recap until we had it, and then you were like, I needed that. Like
I
that
still
was.
want Luis as either a Shield agent or a Sword agent.
No, there will be a Young Avengers, and he will be their Jarvis. And so every time we see the Young Avengers, we get like a Luis. Because remember, he's gonna be like Cassie Lang's.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's gonna be in
Godfather, yeah.
Ant-Man. He's gonna be in Ant-Man 3, right? So like,
Well, he has to be.
right.
Yeah, but he'll go with the Young Avengers beyond Ant-Man afterwards. You can't
Yeah,
throw away
hopefully.
Luis.
No,
Hey, he
I
could be
want
the
him
new
in.
Ant-Man, right?
I want him in the
'Cause
mission briefings. I want him in the
the
mission
new Ant-Man
briefings.
was Hispanic, right? What was his name?
Latino.
Shit. Thank you.
Wait, who? Who are you talking about?
No, that's not the name.
The latest Ant-Man who was of the Ant-Man legacy who was wearing it was Hispanic.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Roz
Latino.
Malhotra
Oh
is
no,
the newest,
isn't he?
and he's Giant
El
Man.
Tenga.
Right, but isn't he Indian?
Yes.
Was he
is
Indian?
not.
Oh, he was
Okay,
Indian.
I
Oh,
apologize. Everybody
I thought it was
sees
a
us. I'm
Spanish
sorry.
name. My bad.
Yeah. And then he has Giant Man, not Ant-Man.
Okay, but I'm saying, but if you're gonna make a totally new character,
Mhm.
new Ant-Man,
No. Listen, I'd be all on board with. I thought they were gonna go the
new
route.
Nick Fury.
I thought they were gonna go the route of Luis getting pin particles, and being part of the Ant Fam. There's still room for that too. But yeah, I'd love him as like as one of the liaisons, the Young Avengers.
He'd make the most sense. I mean, he would make the most sense of whoever is bringing them together to tell them the history.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be better?
Yeah, and then again, he would have scenes with America.
Mhm.
You know, like I buy it. I'm into it.
Pay us money, Marvel.
So we talked a lot about these different directions. I guess now's a good time to transition into some Fantasy Comics League head-to-head showdowns.
On my phone.
Vega.
Before
Am
we
I
get
saying that right, Martin? Vega? Am I saying it right? Head to head?
that's a
No,
Beso a Beso.
Come on, Martin. Come on now.
Am I saying it right? I don't know. I was just trying to
No, that's a different word, kid.
Cabeza. All right. Serious business, guys. Serious business.
Okay.
Week 3. We're in week 3, right?
Yeah.
Week
Of this.
3 head-to-head showdowns.
Mhm.
The multiracial team against the Asian team. The Native American team against the Polynesian team. The Jewish team versus the black team. The white team versus the Latinx team. I'm going to start with white versus Latinx. We're going to start with Martine versus Shaun.
Okay, I'm very nervous. As the person who read these books, I left so many fucking points on the table this week.
Didn't you though?
I did.
Oh wait, give me a second, guys. Just talk your trash. Talk your trash for the next couple minutes.
Hey, Martin, can you teach me some more Spanish words?
Well, for one, the word you just said is dick.
No.
So technically it was
Martine,
head-to-head.
that's the wrong pronunciation.
She was saying, she was saying it like in English, and like I kind of just like go with it because like she was saying verga. And
But it's
know-
verga because it's a B sound,
Martine,
right?
Follow the game.
And then
Yeah,
okay,
I tried.
Yeah, verga. Yep. I mean, what else? I mean, there's pendejo, which is dickhead.
No,
That's the
I'm
literal
trying to get you to say penis.
What does
Alright.
That's
chupa mi
dickhead.
panocha mean?
All right, I'm back. I'm
No,
back,
suck my
guys.
dick.
I'm back. You guys
You didn't
did a
miss anything.
horrible job of vamping. All right, I'm
We are
going
discussing
I am
language,
going-
yes, sir.
character by character. This week, the white delegation's 5 characters were Jon Stewart, The Flash,
Good one.
Katara from Last Airbender, Mr. Fantastic, and Batgirl. And their total was 28 points.
That's actually pretty good.
Led by 15 points for Katara.
Go, Shaun. Go, Shaun.
Katara.
It's not your birthday, but go, Shaun.
I mean, I'm glad she got me some points. 15 points. She did hella good.
That's what women do.
Now the Latinx delegation, their team was Superman, Wolverine,
Mm-hmm.
Miles Morales,
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman, and Black Panther.
All point getters.
You guys went hard this week.
Sure they did. Yeah, they did.
You're gonna get like 31 points.
More like 51 points.
Fuck.
51 points led by
It's all right, Shaun. You can still win with me because you picked my team last week.
led by Superman
Uh-huh.
and his 29 points. 29 points for Superman.
Man, you took away 2 of my Katara points, and my entire team, even with those 2 points, wouldn't have been his Superman. How dare you?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. So that's a win.
Rough.
That's a win
Well
for the
done,
Latinx team.
Hats off.
3. All right.
Next matchup, the Jewish delegation versus the Black delegation. The results could surprise you. Actually, it won't surprise you at all. The Jewish delegation team was She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Zatanna, Jean Grey, and Spider-Woman.
Please tell me they all both got just zeros. They tied.
That team, no. The Jewish delegation scored a total of 28 points.
That's actually really good too.
Led by Moon
She-Hulk,
Knight.
maybe? Oh,
Led by
Knight.
Moon Knight. This
Yeah,
is 10,
well, I
and it's
agree
10
because
points.
Moon Knight had the adventures.
That's right. The second scorer on the team was She-Hulk.
Yep.
No, I'm sorry. The second scorer was Jean Grey, who also scored 10 points.
Yeah, she was in Cable and other X-Men titles. So yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my person, Cable.
Yeah, Cable was it X of Swords 8. She was prominent in.
Black delegation.
2.
Domino, Dazzler, Galactus, Joker, and Invincible.
They picked that on
points.
purpose?
I'm going for 14.
Maybe the Joker got more.
4.
0?
0.
0 points. Joker didn't show up this week, and as you know from the previous 2 weeks, Joker.
I'm sorry, but we're gonna really need a podcast where we just like get the black delegation, the whole black delegation on, and we just literally roast them the whole time.
I mean,
and Chris Rock voice.
Taz can't even afford a full connection, so you can't roast him.
Yeah. Like maybe next week, Task will show up and answer for his choices.
Well,
but,
I mean, today he was just, I didn't understand him,
I'm glad
read comics. It's okay.
I'm glad the Task showed up though, and hopefully we'll have him back. He's always welcome on the podcast. Listen, the matchup of the week though. The matchup of the week. The Native American delegation versus the Polynesian delegation.
Ooh, yeah.
Story versus story. Though there's no stories in this.
I'm going to name the characters.
Yeah.
The Native American delegation: Hulk, Poison Ivy, Ghost Rider, Bane, and Adam Warlock.
I'm surprised he actually added Poison Ivy.
The Polynesian delegation: Valkyrie, Storm, Blue Marvel, Scarlet Witch, and Sunspot.
I would say the Polynesian.
Yeah.
The Native American
Wait,
delegation.
you didn't put Spider-Man in?
Really?
Yet again, did not put Spider-Man in.
That's like an
What is he
automatic. He's a
doing?
no title.
Yeah.
Yet
There's
again.
like 2 or 3 titles. How is that not a...
I don't know what he's thinking. So,
I don't think
the
he
Native
gets
American delegation, 3 points. 3 points total.
That's like not putting Aaron Rodgers in.
Yeah, it is. However, the Polynesian delegation, 1 point.
Who's the overall winner? Overall winner, you have to announce it.
So the Native American delegation defeated the Polynesian delegation by a score of 3-1.
Who
Who's
got those
overall
3
winner?
points?
The 3 points were the Hulk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 1 point?
and the 1 point was Storm.
And she was in the Black Panther book, and they didn't put him in there. That was automatic points.
All right. And now the multiracial team versus the Asian team.
Oh, please don't break my heart twice, Mike.
Shaun.
Here are the 5 characters.
I'm going for Kia because she's
Here are the
sea
5
service.
characters for the multiracial team. Cable, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, and Cyclops.
That's a win right there because they all appeared in books.
Here's the Asian team.
Yeah, but they have Batman,
They got
and they
Batman.
keep on. I tried to talk them out of it too in Discord. I was like, "You can't choose Batman." They listen to me, but
The Asian
That's
delegation.
okay. I won't beat Batman.
Batman, Shang-Chi, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, and Emma Frost.
Ooh, that's tight.
The Asian delegation,
Nuh-uh. They
34 points for the Asian delegation. However,
How many of those were Batman?
good
all
question.
of them.
Good
38,
question.
32.
21 of the 34 points. was
Who else
Batman.
appeared? Winter Soldier got a couple points.
No, Winter Soldier didn't show up this week.
Oh, that was last week then.
Yeah.
Who showed up?
I hate Batman.
Iron Man
Who's this-
and
who's
Emma
looking out?
Frost. No
Oh,
Winter
okay.
Soldier and no Shang-Chi this week.
I
Shang-Chi
freaking
was
hate
a week.
Batman.
Shang-Chi was a week prior.
Yep.
That was his number 1.
All right. Multiracial delegation. 57 points.
Hey, Kia.
She's back. Thank you, Shaun. Oh
Kia.
yeah. Oh.
Everybody, let you know, send all your crowns to Kia and change up the
That's
colors because
right.
she likes the
Right.
flavors.
But I do prefer crowns in Venmo cash. So like, you just want to like.
Kia, you prefer crowns and
Red
Venmo
and
grape.
gold.
Led by, wait
You
for
know
it,
you got
guys.
And I also have Cash App for those of you that just
Cash App
putting-
grape.
Wait. But led by, guess what, guys? Led by Wonder Woman
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
with 26 points,
Yeah.
Yes, she
aka
beat Batman.
aka 5 points more than Batman. That's right.
She had.
Wonder
What I'm talking
Woman
about. Take
beat
that, you little hairy
Batman.
bat.
Well,
That's
let's list her
right.
book. She had Death Metal.
Mhm.
She had Justice League Dark. She had her own
Shaun,
title.
virtual high five.
And I want to say she was in something else that she popped
She was
into.
in Doomed and the Damned.
Doomed into Death. Thank you.
That's right. Wonder Woman's back. The MVP of the Fantasy Comics League Racial Draft Edition.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know what that means? Top scorer this week, top scorer this week, the multiracial team.
Kia? This
57
you?
points.
This right here?
Number 2, 51 points for the Latinx team.
All right.
Just want to point out, I think our Superman got more than your Wonder Woman, right?
Let
you
me
know
see
what?
that again.
I don't want to
Take
think
that-
so. I think they were one title short.
29 for Superman.
Yeah, it was the Lost and the Damned that made you short.
So the key to Superman was that they have the digital first book,
Mhm.
Superman Man of Tomorrow, that came out this week.
Oh, I totally
And-
forgot about that book.
Yeah.
And
Fucking
you know,
Sean, come on, man.
and he
They come out on
came
Friday.
and he
I'm
came
done with
through-
my comic book
and he
by
came through with 7 points. 7 points. Now, as we have to remember, these are all subject to official Fantasy Comics League
Of course.
endorsement, so scores can be
So-
adjusted.
So you can bribe Sean, is what you're saying.
I'm
He's
just-
Canadian, so it's all maple syrup.
But you know, I think we're a couple weeks behind in the official Fantasy Comics League sanctioned scoring. Hopefully, we'll get up to speed on that soon. But we had another week of competition of head-to-heads. Since we've now got some captains on the episode.
Mhm.
Now's a good time.
I knew this
No,
was
it's
coming and I
not.
didn't even prepare for it.
No, it's not. No, not this week.
Hey, since I'm the neutral observer, even though I knew Kia would kind of run as a multiracial team, my dark horse is Sean.
Hey, that Dark Horse won Kia's multiracial team. So
Yes,
I went
yes.
up against Batman.
You
Honestly,
have to pick Batman.
And I
honestly,
beat his
Shaun
ass,
is my.
and I'm so happy.
Shaun is like
actually,
my.
the multiracial team is giving this win to Shaun this
No,
week.
I don't
Shaun-
want the win. It's your win. I'm just glad I got you there.
It's our win.
I'll
Shaun
take
is
that.
more like my guy who's got like the lifetime, the yearly pass to a tanning salon, and because he bought the yearly pass, he gets like an extra 6 tanning sessions. That's Shaun.
Well, thank you. You can't have any of my tanning sessions.
Shaun, as many
I
more
need
tanning
them-
sessions I
I
get,
need
there's the
them
more
just a
bullets that may
little
go
more.
towards me.
But tentatively, Kia, obviously you have 24 hours to change your characters, but for the purpose of the podcast,
just put the crow for five different times.
Who is Kia facing?
Yeah,
Good
who am I
question.
facing?
That is a good
Ooh,
question.
that's a good question. Because Kia's toughest challenge is always going to be the Latinx team. That's just
All
me.
right.
Yeah, but I already challenged them, I think. Yeah, we already challenged each other.
No.
and-
Not yet. That is
I think we did.
jumping ahead. I mean, I'll give a little teaser. Week 7. Circle week 7 on your calendar.
So is this like Alabama playing
What
LSU?
week is this?
This is week 4.
Oh, I ain't scared.
So week 4's challenges: the multiracial delegation against the Jewish delegation,
Yanni.
the Native American delegation against the white delegation. History
Go, Shaun.
does not favor.
Sorry, Shaun. I'm calling as a country. I got to go against you. But I love you. I just want you to know that.
I was your dark horse literally like a minute ago.
Yeah, but now you're the
you
white
call
horse.
yourself dark horse going against the native delegation.
Yeah, you're the white horse now, Shaun.
Yeah.
You're a white horse now.
Yeah,
The
the white horse
Polynesian-
we all rode in on. Y'all welcome.
Can we just call him the boat?
Yeah, he's a boat. He's
a
the Santa
boat.
Maria.
He's
Oh.
a Mayflower.
Oh no. Oh.
Hey, I didn't make it to Pizza, Shaun, right? I didn't make it to Pizza. I was trying to
Sean
be
just
good.
over there. He's like, well, I damn sure wasn't the Amistad.
Yeah.
Do you want me to reschedule this for Thanksgiving weekend? Is this what's happening? No.
I feel like it'd be appropriate.
Whoa. But yes.
But
Yes,
in all seriousness,
schedule due to COVID.
so the next matchup is the Polynesian delegation against the Latinx delegation,
I'm sorry, commentate.
and
No, Shaun, that's pretty rough.
and the final matchup, the Asian delegation against the Black delegation, and hopefully, actually, guest captain. We had a guest captain for the Black delegation. Our friend Randy.
Oh shit, Randy.
Our friend Randy already put in characters for the Black delegation.
I feel
Randy's
this like
an overachiever.
I feel like this is an internal Wu-Tang Clan fight. But
Come
you
in my
can't-
gravel pit, a mystery unravel it.
And again, he still
And the
has.
bees!
So I'm gonna go ahead
Hey,
and
Shaun, you had to look.
I'm gonna go ahead and announce them live on the podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and announce live on the podcast the characters for the Black delegation: Domino,
Uh-oh.
Joker, Doom,
Their first character that's going to appear next week.
Reverse Flash,
Yeah.
and Jason Todd.
I'm gonna go public record. Joker is a mistake.
Because Joker War is over.
Joker War's
Joker's
over,
played
and
out.
Joker War, yeah, he is right. And the fact that Joker War had a little bit of add-in, kind of almost a after credit scene,
Mm-hmm.
in Batman, to where he was doing the whole thing. I think now you're gonna get the whole remix. This is, like I said, neutral party, whole remix of Gotham as the enemy to Batman
Mm-hmm.
going on. I don't think you're gonna see Joker till honestly March, April is going to be the newest Joker.
You might be right.
Personally,
You might be
because
right.
I think,
So,
because you have the January, February into March lead-ins for all the Batman books. No Joker because it's supposed to be with the Magistrate and then the last few months is going to be. You may see Joker in Dark Knight, but you're going to the Death Metal. You're going to get a few points tops, but he's not going to be in anything else because Joker is missing an eye. We haven't seen no Joker artwork.
Yeah,
I think Joker's a mistake, and I'm calling it now.
Well, yeah, but you're on my team, the winning team.
Sea Service girl, come on now, Navy Marine team. We don't lose. We win battles.
That's right. Well, that's right.
You've still got time to hit up Randy and get him, or Randy
don't help Randy.
Randy, Task, or Toast from the Black Delegation and get them to change their picks.
Toast?
Yep. Toast and the Black Tea. Hey, look,
I'm hungry.
I want to be known as all y'all. I'm gonna be, even though I'm pulling for Kia secretly.
Secretly.
It's out now.
Openly, because I want Kia to get all 64 Crayola colors because I never want to be hungry as a Marine and, they love the crowns. But I want to be the neutral observer. I'm just saying out loud ahead of time.
Neutral observer on Kia's team.
I'm supporting. I'm waving your flag, but I'm not on your team.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
So you're faking it, huh? You're just
Sea Service, Navy, Marines. Anyhow, I was saying we shouldn't see Joker. To me, the earliest for Joker is March, and I think it's going to be way later because Joker's just got shot in the head by Harley. He killed the rando to kind of establish that we know Joker's alive.
Right, but he's going to be presumed dead. Yes.
So I think we're going to have at least. And then
maybe Batman's gonna cry and not.
Well, I think we're gonna have 2 months of whatever's going on, and I think they're gonna be, to me, independent. So to me, till the new year, you're gonna see independent Batman books of whatever bullshit or Batman in the past or detective stories.
Well, there's a new character that's being introduced. I forget his name.
Joker Killer.
No. A new character is being introduced this week.
But as I say, to me, that's gonna take us into
the end of the year.
Not 5G, but not 5G.
Right.
That's 2 months, and then we're going to see March, April, other people. I personally don't think we're not going to see Joker because of Joker exhaustion. Until summer, midsummer, we're going to see Joker, when there's going to be an event, and then we're going to see Joker return. So I think having Joker as a character is a losing bet.
You're probably right.
I don't think.
But here's the thing. 3 Jokers, is that coming out this week, Shaun? What are the big books that are coming out this week?
I'm looking through them right now. The big books that are coming out this week: Batman 101.
Okay.
The Amazing Spider-Man has gone weekly, so another chapter of The Last Remains, but this is going to focus on the Order of the Web, so like Miles, Gwen, Cindy, Jessica Drew, X-Men.
Right.
And X-Men coming out, so more Swords of X, which would probably focus on the Braddock and Apocalypse, and probably Gorgon, because he's got to get his blade somehow.
All
right. Those are the big ones coming out. Just no, none of those are that big. Fantastic Four, number 25. That's a big issue.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see, outside of maybe the Deceased titles or anything connected to Deceased, I don't see a Joker. Because we haven't seen Deceased. We haven't seen Joker and Deceased. I think that's almost his only, or the Tom. Well, I'll say anything Tom King and Joker we haven't seen.
So, but here's the thing. But here's the thing, Shep. We have to remember that when we're talking about the Black Delegation, it's slim pickings. It's slim pickings. These are the characters. Let's remember who the characters they drafted were: Domino, Dazzler, Galactus, Joker, Invincible, Doom, Black Bolt, Thanos, The One Above All, Hela, Goku, Reverse Flash, and Jason Todd.
So
maybe Goku can help him.
Well, I think we'll see Jason Todd because also the Batman movie with the multi-selections coming. Well, you know what? Let me ask you a question before I answer this. Does anything animated or anything video game count as points?
No.
No.
Okay. So if none of that counts as points, maybe Jason Todd, Goku and manga is always going to hit because it's manga, right? You might see Galactus, and you're going to see either Domino or Dazzler, probably in some book. Even
Well, Domino's an X-Force, right? So she you could see her.
Yeah, so you'll get something from that, and you might get some Dazzler points, but that's it. I think Joker is done. Joker is good. There's Joker for. Did I say Joker fatigue? But you just had Joker in a major arc, doing major things, leading into the new status quo for Batman.
I just think
you're not going
that
to see Joker for to me 8 months.
So here's the thing. Harley has a book that comes out, that occasionally will have Joker in it, in a flashback. I'm thinking more of like the digital first ones, or the Harley Red, White, and Black. Also the Batman digital first, because it's kind of like its own thing. Joker can pop up in that. There's always a possibility of a random Joker appearance.
I think you'll get two. I think Harley's book, because they've been advertising it as Joker's dead, Batman's in jail. You're gonna get a Joker flashback, at least issue 1.
Yeah. And
some other Joker related thing. But that's it. He's not going to get you.
No, he's not going to be the
points.
He's going to be the big scorer that he was during Joker War.
Yeah.
But because 3 Jokers is still out there, and it's still maybe not this week, but I think that story still has a couple more issues. Joker still has the possibility of being a scorer. He and Jason Todd have really been the MVPs of the Black Delegation.
I think Jason Todd more than Joker.
Yeah, if he had Jason Todd from the beginning, they might have moved up into challenging the White Delegation. But yeah, I mean,
back in one sec.
At least there's a possibility of the Black Delegation doing something this week. And who are they facing again?
Asian, right?
The Asian delegation. So they're just gonna get mollywopped by Batman anyway.
Dick Grayson's coming out. I think he's got 2 books this week, and Batman's got a couple books.
Yeah, they're gonna get mollywopped, but hopefully they'll put up a fight. But since we're here, Martine.
Yeah.
Who you got?
All right. So I looked up what the upcoming comics were, because I knew this question was coming up. Sue Storm. Miles Morales. Aquaman. I think this might be a little bit of a slow week, but I'm still gonna put in like Superman and Wolverine in there as well. Because
can't be Wolverine over Thor.
Well, we can change. I can probably.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I mean, no offense, it's the Polynesian delegation, right?
Fair point. Hopefully Tomati has some characters in mind. All right, Kia. You're on mute. Oh, Kia's decided to hide from us. All right, well until Kia decides to come back. There we go.
I'm back.
There we go.
My dog needed to use the bathroom, and I'd rather him poop outside than in my house.
That makes sense. That's very logical.
Unusual choice for a Marine, but okay.
I know, right? Normally, I'd find some Navy guy's house to let my dog poop in.
All right, Kia.
You'd have to be able to read first. That's cute.
All right, Kia, give us your 5. Or tentative 5.
Oh, my tentative 5. Let's see.
Crayola doesn't count as one.
Wonder Woman to the 5th power.
Wonder Woman, obviously.
Oh shit, Mike's typing this down.
Yeah, like I don't know. Mike knows I'm not gonna say anything other than Wonder Woman like 5 times, right? Like
no.
Wonder Woman almost wins you the whole game right now.
I don't know what books are coming out yet. I'm not like
That's
Martine, the overachiever that actually looked. God.
look. You know
Oh,
who your 5 favorites are. Don't play
I,
this
I
game.
feel I feel like I feel like this is so much stress.
You know who your
Oh,
five
We're not
favorites
even
are.
battling somebody that's hard to beat, though, right? Who's she fighting? She's fighting the Jewish
Jewish.
delegation. Yeah, you got this.
There's a lot of shade. There's a lot of shade coming through this week.
damn,
shit.
damn. Ah, I
I beat
don't know.
Batman. I don't know what to tell you. I've got a bit of an ego.
Is
Obviously,
Deadpool doing?
you have a good
Is
team,
Deadpool
Shaun.
doing anything this week?
Does Deadpool have a book out this week? I don't think so, right?
He does not.
Ooh, I love him.
Here, let me start shouting out relevant books for you.
That'd be great.
Uh,
And I'll think of your voice as the higher power's voice.
Man, if you got points off Twitter, you'd be
you have
growing.
Daredevil? Who has Daredevil? No, Polynesian.
Daredevil's Polynesian team. Hopefully he remembers
Who's your
to
Fantastic Four character?
no Fantastic Four character.
He has none.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have none. Yeah, that's still one.
You
Crazy,
don't have
huh?
a-
Huh, Martine?
No, I mean because he's reading out books.
Teen Titans, you don't have any teens. Catwoman.
Oh, get the pussy in there. Yeah.
So far, that's all you've
So-
got in the way of points coming your way.
That hurts
And
me.
Annie's got Spider-Woman next week. You might get your ass kicked.
I know. But you know what? The Jewish team is a formidable team.
It is seriously just a crapshoot for you. Pick your favorites.
All
Catwoman's
right.
the only guarantee.
Okay, so Catwoman. Let's go with the Harley Quinn.
Of course, Harley. Harley's always a. I don't know what kind of crap Shaun is pitching your way.
Actually, the Robin King has a one-shot coming out, and he's been fighting Harley Quinn recently, so that might be a good call.
Thank you. Who else? Who do I have so far? Wonder Woman, Harley
Wonder
Quinn.
Woman, Catwoman, Harley Quinn.
I don't know.
Got
Should we make it all ladies?
Don't pick Mystique.
Hey, go
That's not
ladies.
going to work out for
You're
you.
fighting Annie.
Well,
Of
wait.
course you're with
Find out.
April.
Mystique was supposed to be doing something.
Well, I don't think she's going to show until honestly after X of Swords because
Exactly.
Mystique is a subplot to me that's going to unravel Kuroka. So that's like to me like that's next year. Honestly,
I mean, I suppose there's always a possibility that oh no, like Black Widow's got her own book.
she
I'm gonna
does.
say, though, you are fighting Annie. You have to go A-Force.
Yeah, you do.
Carol Danvers,
Carol's.
Carol Danvers.
Captain Marvel.
That's four, and
So it's between Mystique and Black Widow.
of course Black Widow, obviously.
Yeah.
Black Widow. Not
I mean,
mad at it.
you have to tell me the rest of the group. I don't think we're going to see Mystique until after X of Swords when Mystique is the one to start putting the dagger.
I mean, she's still
When I was
around.
picking my team.
Like she's still around though.
Yep.
She's like in the she's on the council. So
She is, but you don't see her. I mean, even in X of Swords so far, you really haven't seen her.
Right. I'm surprised they actually
So-
didn't give her a sword.
You know what? I'm with you, and I thought it would be very interesting to give her a sword that can like change shape.
Interesting. Yeah.
But I think they're trying to reserve her as a shock appeal to whenever Kuroka starts to fall, or the idea, or the ideals of it start to fall. Because I mean, she's the only one to me with a connection to anybody with future powers, right? Because she loves them, because she has, a love for that. So.
Yeah, she's
I think-
definitely like a Chekhov's gun, just sort of like waiting to go off.
Yeah. There's going to be a place and time to where you're going to see her. It's going to be like every issue of every X.
Right.
Almost.
Not to mention that with the shapeshifter ability, we could just all of a sudden realize that this character that we thought was a character was Mystique all along.
Yep.
You know what's crazy though? Our first big X event of the Hickman era is largely a story that didn't exist when he launched it, you know? Like X of Swords has nothing to do with anything that was really going on in House of X, Dawn of
Yeah.
X. And all that shit still needs to be touched. And X of Swords is going to have fallout that we've got to deal with before we can even start getting into that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, Sean's right. The only X of Swords thing that we know is an immediate fallout is going to be in any Black Panther property.
So actually, I'm gonna push back a little bit on that. I think that there's a possibility that Moira has some insight into the previous incarnations of whatever Apocalypse was up to, because of her time when she was part of his Horsemen. So maybe we got a quick Moira appearance. Maybe we'll get another one.
I agree with you, but the fact that out of every property in Marvel, the only X of Swords book that's crossed over to it all has been Black Panther, because she took the sword out of there. And it's the only one that grounds it into 616, and the only one that we see has a consequence. Because out of all the other countries who could not, any way, shape, or form, mess with the gates at the Kuroka gates, Wakanda is the only one that we know that could destroy a gate.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Black Panther said it, destroy that gate, it was like he already knew he could. Because he's Black Panther, so obviously he could. But he's the only country out of all the gates we've seen who he knew confidently, I can destroy this gate, it's not coming back.
Well, also remember, they're one of the few countries that don't have a treaty with Krakoa.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. Like, that's the only, of all the X of Swords books, it's the only book that has a ramification into it. All the other X of Swords books so far, because we're up to 8 at the cable issue, makes us at 8, have no ramification actually going on in any of the X books we see except for Wakanda.
Yeah.
So that, to me, there's a significance in that there is, if you're Hickman and if you're Marvel, to me, and y'all can tell me if you agree or disagree, your way into the wider Marvel verse from X of Swords is through Wakanda, because he is the chairman of the Avengers.
Right, that's true. And I mean, I don't know how the continuities are going to line up, but those of you who are staying current on Avengers, there's a Phoenix event coming, and I imagine there'll be some X-Men intersecting with that.
I just want to jump in quickly. I listened to a podcast with Teenie Howard, and she talked about how X of Swords came into being, and she was basically like, this was my plot line. Like, I was going to explore it. And then a couple other people are like, that was really cool. And then Hickman was like, why don't we just make it everybody ties in? We can explore this in such a bigger way. It can impact so many more characters. And it just grew out of that. And she's like, and that's open to every single writer. Any of us could choose to do this at any point. So they're just enjoying playing in this world right now, rather than getting to the storylines that are going to bring it down.
Right. Well, I mean,
and Shaun, you're right, because this is the first X storyline actually, since Jason's writing, I've been excited, but this is the one I'm like, wow. I mean, I've loved, and I'm probably in the minority, I've loved the New Avengers, and I love the whole Moon Knight storyline, because I like to see Moon Knight in a different light. And there's the whole, find the aliens, the whole storyline that went across. But to me, X of Swords is way tighter.
Yeah. I was a little bummed out that they're, post Empire, because Empire was another storyline that found a way to involve the entire universe, both the non-X books and the X books. I was hoping that there'd be a little bit more, and I suppose there will be with Sword, right? Whenever they launch the Sword book, the fact that that's going to tie into both X books and non-X books. But so far, we haven't, like you said, we haven't seen ramifications in these storylines go beyond the X books, and hopefully we will. But here we go, Shaun. You're up. We're your 5 whites.
They're actually all white. So, they're not all white. So,
is it Trump, and Biden?
Shep, weren't you just saying that you love Trump? Like,
don't put that.
Yeah,
don't put that on.
I would love Trump to have COVID come back on him.
Whoa, he said that, but
as they say, you had one job, COVID, one job.
For real.
All right,
Come on,
Shaun.
Shaun. Hit it, Shaun.
All right, I'm gonna start with my only character that I for sure know is not gonna be in a, or the only one I don't know won't be in a book. He's the unknown factor. All the other ones are for sure appearing. That's the Flash because he's never let me down.
The Flash. All right. Barry Allen.
Next up, Superboy.
Superboy. All right.
He's in Teen Titans and he's really pissed off because he's trying to figure out what happened to Damian Wayne.
Does that mean that Damian Wayne is going to be one of your choices?
Yes, yeah.
Damian Wayne. The no longer Robin.
Batgirl. Dick's got a book coming out. There's a good chance Barbara's going to be in it.
Babs. Possibly back to being Oracle.
That is true. She did take that identity. I gave her the character development for it.
Skeptical.
Okay.
I'm skeptical about whether it was permanent or not, or whether it was just a one-time thing.
That is true. I guess we'll see when they announce whatever the fuck our book's going to be. And last character is Mr. Fantastic.
Read.
Ooh, that's a good pick. Definitely his book.
That's right. And who are you facing this week? The Native Americans, so probably just one of your characters will... Well, maybe this will be the week that Joaquin decides to bring Spider-Man back out.
Joaquin's actually got a good fighting chance next week. Hulk showing up. Juggernaut showing up. Spider-Man.
No, Juggernaut is Asian.
Oh, is he? Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. He has Venom, right?
Nope, he's Carnage. He chose the wrong symbiote.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty good.
He's like, the white will prevail. I mean,
I can beat Batman. I can beat Spider-Man, no problem.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Sorry,
well,
we just beat Batman. We are Venom.
yeah. Looking back, that is one he'd probably want to take back. If he had gone with Venom over Carnage, that would have, greatly improved his final output. Because wasn't Carnage's event like way over by the time we drafted?
Yeah.
But maybe he'll be back for King in Black. When is that kicking off?
December? January?
Is it? I think that's January, I thought.
Ooh.
No, 'cause I just saw the solicits for the 3rd issue, so I think he kicks off in December, and January is chapter 3, and that's when all the tie-ins start to kick in.
Right. Season 2 of the racial draft will be kicking off.
That'll be over by the time we start drafting.
Would that be season 3?
No. So I guess I should announce it now that we're going to be starting season 2 of the racial draft in December. So we are at the tail end of the head-to-heads. Will take us through November.
So is each season 6 months, or how are we doing this here? Curious.
Season, it will be 12 picks. Then it will be.
No, I'm talking about the timeline. Is it every 6 months, or how are we doing this?
I mean, it's let's call it 30 weeks.
We're Americans. Sean's only way can count 30 weeks.
I mean, this is we're still in season 1. We went through 12 weeks. We went through 12 weeks of drafting. Then we went through 8 weeks of Fantasy Comics League, and now we're into about. We've got 7 weeks of the head-to-heads, and we had a couple of weeks in there, so we had about 30 weeks.
Like it.
So, look forward to season 2. We reshuffle the deck. And
I really hope we at least get February's solicits before we start drafting, because I feel like to make a preview for what the next season will have to be, I'm just going to have to make a list of characters that have ongoings and then rank those ongoings on like safe for sure, might get canceled, probably not going to make it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to have you on the pre-draft show again to tier these characters out.
It's so hard to make a preview because our draft ends so much later than when we started, and we don't really have the data or the solicits for when the draft ends.
Good point.
We're
So
not gonna have the end
we'll
of
have to
February.
go with the history of the character more so than good information about what's exactly coming.
Yeah,
But
I hope we
one
see more favorites and stuff because of that.
right. But I expect you to have some tiers for us, Shaun. You know, some top tier,
I
second
mean, there's
tier,
gonna be a
third tier.
DC tier, which will be like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and then everybody else will be ranked after that because those DC and Harley Quinn will be in there.
I think because I won this round, I run this thing that next time that I should be able to not only go first but then pick two for my
No,
first round.
that's not traditionally how anything works.
Yeah, I know, but it sounds really good.
Um,
It sounds
we're
American. That's what it does sound like.
no. I
When you're
mean,
winning, you get to keep winning.
um, yeah. Luckily, you're not going to be picking last. Luckily, you're not going to be picking last. We're gonna do like we did this past season.
Oh, so I'll get lucky again and pick
We'll do another random drawing, where we'll decide the draft order based on random drawing.
I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to do that live because I don't trust you. I can see you like pulling the multiracial thing and then be like, "Oh, here we go." Like,
Yeah,
no.
you're the co-host. You can be
The
you'll be
writing is not
here. You'll be
legible.
right here with me when I do the random drawing.
Oh, so I'm definitely going first, guys. Mark my words. I'm putting it into existence right now, just like I did as the front runner. I will be going first once again.
Well, the other thing that we're
And
gonna
this
be
time I'm stealing Batman. Look
the
at this
other
shit.
the other thing that we're gonna be doing is abolishing captains. Um,
What?
I mean, the title will be the title's gonna be changed from captain to representative.
Yeah,
Representative.
I'm gonna keep captain
It will-
unless you upgrade it to queen.
you can be our queen, Kia. You're in our hearts. You're the king. You're the queen. But
Don't worry, Beyonce. I'm only coming after your job.
yeah, in season two there'll be representatives and not captains.
I'm gonna find a way to make a white pun off that. I just don't know how yet.
All right. Well, you've got a few weeks to figure it
Well,
out.
you're white, and if you just make a pun,
You can
is
just
it
be
a white pun?
colonizer instead of captain.
Yeah, she can be the queen. Why can't I have a title? You know.
Yeah,
Colonizer in chief.
Colonizer. Colonizer in chief. Yeah.
I just started drinking water and I just spit it all up.
Well, oh man, this has been quite the ride, quite the thrill ride. Hopefully, it's been a great ride for the listeners. Anyone
so.
have any final words that they want to share with the world?
Hey, what you got, Martine? What you got?
I don't really got anything, man. Like we've been
Hashtag
talking,
Kyle
like,
Rhino forever.
that's not gonna help. It's not. Let's be honest here. But I've just become pessimistic about that for the foreseeable future. So yeah, they don't care. Like I do still do, but I won't expect them to do anything.
You'll be pleasantly surprised anytime Kyle shows up.
Yeah, that's about it. I'll be pleasantly. I won't expect him to show up, but when he does, I'll be like, oh hey, great, and then nothing for like months.
That
Well.
sounds like my last boyfriend.
Oh God.
You don't want yeah.
Does that Wat from DAP? Is that how it goes?
Oh. All right, Shaun, what do you have to share with the people?
I'll be Batman. This is my episode. I don't know what to tell you guys. Sorry, we beat Batman. Me and Kia beat Batman, y'all.
Word.
That is worth a victory lap. Our special guest this week, hopefully not the last time, Shep.
Well, I hope you guys want me back. Let Mike know if you want me back, and if you hate me, I'll still be back as he fills in. Also, I'm a big RPG guy. So if you can find me on Discord, find me on Twitter. If you guys want to
Oh yeah,
jump in the
shout out
game
your
on that,
socials.
it's really Shep the Monk at Twitter. I'm Black Monk on Discord and on Xbox Live if you want to get a game in. But if you guys want to go ahead and do some RPGs, D&D, or any other game, let me know. I like running games. So
Okay.
let's do this. And I'm hoping, trying to rope in some of our superhero people into a superhero RPG so I can get you all to run one. So if you guys like it, push them on it, embarrass them, make them feel bad, make Kia eat crowns. She likes Crayola. And I would love to go ahead and run an RPG game until I go over again.
It's fun to stay at the YMC. Oh, sorry.
That's right. Remember, Marine reads my ass rides in Navy equipment. So, just remember that. They're like teenagers, like when you're in the Navy, and then Marines are like, Dad, can I go someplace? And we give them a ride on ships. And they're like,
I can make so many inappropriate jokes right now.
They're like, Dad, does God exist? And we give them chaplains. And they're like, Dad, it's scary outside. And then the Navy gives them bullets,
Can't trust those chaplains. They're always underway.
You should never. That's how we sucker them in. But if you guys ever want to hit up MTF,
hey, that came from a Navy man's mouth. Remember that. He said, "Suck them in."
Oh God!
We said suck them in, and just remember, every Marine is willing. Just remember that.
Oh.
They love it. But I hope all you fans will want the whole racial draft podcast engaged into an RPG, and I will find them a superhero RPG. And I will put them through the ringer. So if you guys want it, if you guys hit up MTF, I will definitely run it. And hopefully we can badger Mike into making it a thing.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, Shep, it was great having... Oh, Kia, sorry.
Wow. Whoa. Whoa.
Kia's black, purple crowns. That's all she needs.
Oh, you're the queen, Kia. But you're about to sign the
purple crowns, Kia.
Anyway, to all the followers that are following Shep, Martine, Shaun, and Mike, follow me instead, because that's where you will feel like as though you are on a winning team. I am the winning team. But I had a great assist this week. Thank you, Shaun. So I guess you can keep following Shaun too. But if you guys want to follow somebody great, follow me on Twitter at KiaBism or on Instagram at KiaBism. I don't know what I'm doing on my Instagram. I'm figuring it out. Pictures, I think. But yeah. Follow me.
Kia, spell it out for us.
KIABIZM.
All right, there you have it. Well, that was a great week of shenanigans and comic nerdery, and we wouldn't have it any other way. So until next time, all things are possible.